Oh, word to the wise. Oh, sorry, you go.
We are an explicit podcast.
Sorry,
tackling
you're doing this one.
Content with
Adult themes,
as well as entering spoiler territory. If you aren't caught up with us this week, that would be through. Fuck. Blade Without a Handle, Through Along Comes a Spider, Demon in White, Christopher Rocchio. Oh god, oh fuck! I promised people that I was going to put the chapter numbers in this. Chapter 37 through chapter 44.
Damn, we in this book. I don't have chapter numbers ever, so I'm not thinking about it. True.
Hey there, this is Cross.
This is Cross.
And we are Words and Whiskey, a podcast for veteran and novice readers alike. We tackle fiction novels and love to talk about what we're drinking. You should think of us as your intoxicating weekly book club.
I don't know why I'm coming into this one with like an antagonistic.
I almost paused just to wait for you to do that part of the intro, just to see if you'd do it. But I was like, no, I'm just going to run with it and see what he does.
I'll be good. This is Josh.
No, it's good. It's fun. We're having a fun time. I'm a little punch drunk because we're before. I'm just having a good time. About to go on vacation for a week.
Yeah.
You
can hear more about that and the Devil's Cut on.
We did talk about it quite a bit.
Patreon.com/Words and Whiskey.
Nailed it. While we're at it, real quick, since we're just at the beginning of this episode, shout out to our newest patron, of whom just signed up. At this point, it'll be last week, but Dewey Thompson, thank you for joining. I'm excited to have you. And in particular, he mentioned that he started listening to us within the first law and then joined us for Sun Eater. So he's been following along. Cool. He's just wrapping up Howling Dark right now, but really kind of exciting and fun. So when you hear this in 6 weeks, whenever you get here, maybe 3, I don't know.
I feel like it'd be wild, especially if it was like not just the full first law. Oh, sorry, you're still saying stuff. You keep saying what you're saying.
No, that was it. That was it.
Whenever you get here, hello, welcome. Thank you for being here. We appreciate you. It's got to be crazy if you started on first law, especially if you like only did like Age of Madness or something. You just get like 3 books of PJ and then
Yeah. Well, especially so much of that is also there's a little bit of like fatalism throughout the final couple of books.
Yeah, because like, it's
we only have so many more of these to go. And if you don't know, if you didn't like have the build up to the relationship either, it's a little bit weird and different too. So I don't know, because I definitely turned that into a little bit of a we're gonna just talk about whatever the fuck we want in the context of like all the other books. Like I don't really care,
of course,
and like kind of giving him the reign in a lot of way that way. But that said, he's fucking gone,
and now
he's toast.
We're not talking about the first law.
We're not talking about that. Today is our 6th episode talking about Demon in White by Christopher Rocchio. We're reading Blade Without a Handle, Through Along Comes a Spider. That's 37 through 44, I believe. With that, vibe check.
Vibe check is this is a good book.
It's a good book.
Yeah, this section it's funny. Like you can compare it almost directly to sections from the first and second book. It's like not dissimilar from like the Hadrian and waiting before meeting Carnsagara, or even like the imprisoned Hadrian. It's not that different from like the Colosso Hadrian sections. It's not like there's always kind of a section where Hadrian's just a prisoner.
Yeah.
And this is another one, sort of.
Yeah.
In a way. I think that
yeah.
This is the most well-balanced pacing-wise and most enjoyable to read out of those so far.
It is, without a doubt. I mean, like if you compare it to Howling Dark or if you compare it to Empire of Silence, we covered a similar trap of time in Empire of Silence over the course of 3 weeks in like 20 some odd chapters. In Howling Dark, it was 2 weeks and it was 14 some odd chapters ish, including some like build in and then some like denouement from that. And then this is one section of 8 chapters.
Yeah,
and it fully encompasses
it's a little
the
tighter,
idea and more.
But you definitely get the feeling. I mean, it benefits from the groundwork laid out by those previous books. But
technically speaking, we're only trapped with Hadrian for 2 chapters. Really trapped. 3 maybe.
It also does something. Sorry, I gotta rearrange my pillows here.
No, get comfy.
Call me. Yeah, no. It has a section that I think is a very interesting play on the like first person past tense that these books are written in, where you get an imagined third person sort of thing, and I think that that's fucking
He's flirting
sick.
with fun shit. Yeah.
Yeah, there's some fun writing in here. There's also some like Lisan al Gaib moments in here that are fucking sick. I don't know. This is a good section of a good book. What do you want me to say? God damn.
No, yeah, I mean that's it. That's all. I did want to say, and this is my own personal take. We were originally going to record 2 episodes this week for a variety of reasons, keep ahead, etc. This is coming out on probably a Saturday, a day off because of the whole vacation thing and things like that. London town, maybe late on a Friday, what have you. But this episode, or rather this section, is now the section of the books that I've listened to the most. I have listened to this 5 fucking times. I've almost listened to it so much that I'm bored with it in its own way.
Okay, that's crazy.
I kind of beat it into my own head.
If it's even wilder whenever you think about like combined how many times you've listened to it.
Yeah.
How many times did you say you have?
5.
Shit. So if you add up mine, it's 6. That's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. You did it once.
I've been a busy boy.
you asshole. No, that's fine. And the reason we didn't record the other episode is because you were sick.
Yeah,
that's fine.
I was very sick.
But yeah, I read it, or I listened to it 4 times, and listened to it 3 times, read it twice, and then listened to the first 4 chapters again. So I am very familiar with this section. I feel like if you're ever like, but did this happen? I'm going to be like, no.
I've listened to parts of this section multiple times because I got distracted. And I was like, I could go back and listen to that again.
Yeah. But this is not to say anything about the quality. This is just me overdoing it for some fucking reason. Yeah. But vibes are good. I really like this section. There's so much depth to it in a lot of different places. I just like maybe didn't like sit as much in the esoteric nature of a lot of it because of that.
Yeah, I get that.
Like I was like, all right, I'm here. I know the facts. I got the facts. I'm good. I'm done. And at a certain point, it became less about like the quality writing, and it became more about like the beats and trying to capture it. But I do think it gave me an interesting perspective on one section that we'll talk about.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I got it. An interesting.
I hate that you fixed it. I was going to make fun of you about the typo, and you just fixed it. Or not typo, but strange typing choice.
I always fix the typos as we're going because like either one of us end up reading them at some point.
Let it be known that whenever Cross says, we start this week with the crew evaluating the knife missile, what it was originally typed as is, we start this week with the crew evaluating the knife missile.
It was very fun, but we do start this week with the crew evaluating the knife missile and Grimm's particular frustration with this sneaking under his nose and killing Martin, one of the Batmans. They review the details. It was heat-seeking, likely a Nipponese design, and may have contained a diamond running it. We get these details kind of confirmed later, but I got to say, just as like a fun bonus thing, I do love, we've gotten a little bit of this before, and I may have already talked about it a little bit, but now it feels like we're more in it, and we can really kind of flesh this out. The fact that the demons that are possessing the machines, diamonds as they were, is literally the like base layer of code that we would refer to, like this fun extraction because of the 10,000 year time difference or what have you, not quite 10,000, but you know, like the extraction of the time difference here really emphasizes the sort of like mysticism of daemons running in the background of your computer. Folks, if you don't know at home, a daemon is sort of what, if you're on a Unix machine, is what runs in the background to kind of keep a lot of the different things going. It's keeping status checks. It's very standard statusy programming.
Crosslin. Those are demons made of silicon and diamond.
Exactly. Which is why it's so fun. It's such a good, interesting blend of like fantasy and otherwise. I'm so glad that computer nerds were nerds because it makes this so much more fun than it should be.
Also, I gotta say, reading this in the year of our Lord 2026 is wild.
The AI shit gets worse
I feel
worse.
like the AI shit was like, wouldn't that be crazy? And now I'm just reading it during the AI uprising, and I'm like, where is our good King William?
Man, I've been having a lot of conversations with, I think I mentioned this maybe last week, but I've been having a lot of conversations with my dad about the AI of it all.
Yeah, it's wild.
And sort of this series in a lot of different ways. So
yeah,
But yeah, there's this knife missile that killed the Batman.
Yeah, Bateman, I think I do know, is like it's like a old English term for like servant, I assume.
Yes, yeah.
I feel like I've heard it before.
For sure. Yeah.
But also it's just upsetting to know that for all of his hard work to become like such a like reliable comedic actor, all of Jason Bateman's descendants just become like a race of servants for the Palatines.
Yeah, I mean, but it was bound to happen. I mean, ever since he took the role and like also starred and wrote in The Ozarks, he really dug himself in such a hole because like Netflix was never going to pay him enough money from what he was investing.
And then he
into
started
to begin with.
He had to become a servant to the overlords once they took over streaming services, and then that really set him on the
which
path.
Is why
to
he became a
servanthood.
podcaster.
Yeah.
And we all know that podcasters make no money.
No.
Sometimes we get cool shirts though.
Honestly,
Shakespeare's the mind killer.
We get paid in exposure and merch. And what else could you ask for?
And books. Yeah.
We get sick books sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
I got recognized once. That's all the payment I need.
It will probably happen more and more, but yeah. Anyway, interesting little bit. The knife missile obviously feels very Dune-ish almost immediately. It's very similar to the knife missile in Doom, obviously, or Dune, which is obviously a call out between the two, but almost immediately referential. So, as a result, though, Hadrian is left wondering who is responsible for sending this missile after him and injuring his lady, as well as thinking through how he can best control this narrative. But a question still eats at him as to whether it was meant for him or Volca. Either way, he's set on figuring out who sent the weapon and settling this point.
Yeah.
Which point is a French term for blood feud.
If you're going to do Old English, do Old English. If you're going to do French, do French. Don't fucking mix them up, Rockio.
He does all of it. So I don't know what you were thinking when you said that.
Pick a lane.
No, he's going to do all of it.
Make me learn one ancient language, you know?
Well, he's going to make you learn an ancient language and then like 3 alien languages. So like, I don't know. What's another one?
God damn it. Barely speak English.
Yeah, same.
Yeah,
definitely no ye old.
I like jumping into this like back and forth of like, at first they're like, who was the target, and then that makes them think who might have done it. But then it's like, okay, but then what if that wasn't the target? Well, then it would have been them. And like, there's just this fun kind of runaround where it feels like they're solving a mystery, but you just end it more confused than you started it.
Yeah,
I like that,
for a little bit.
That's actually how kind of reality works. They do seem to come up with an idea that they have a pretty general idea of what happened and who did it and who they were after. But it's like Clue. Like, yeah, you have a couple hints, but like, I don't know what's in the envelope. So,
right. Yeah, exactly. There is like a little bit of, I like the Clue comparison where it's like, okay, there are only so many people that want something done. We've been introduced to our political players on the other side of the story as well. So like, we know that there's this playing around, but there are also certain things that he can't push out of his mind.
Yeah, it's like, was it Bourbont in the Chantry with the knife missile,
or was it instead Brethnak with a fucking ice cream scoop in the bathroom? You know,
probably,
probably that. Yeah, yeah. But it certainly seems like there's more than meets the eye here. The investigation is interesting. This is a tough section to not just talk about everything that's going forward. So we're going to kind of run through it until we get there. I feel like
I agree.
Because like the speculation is interesting. If I had cut this in a different way, but like I didn't cut this to speculate because it didn't make sense. So,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
Otherwise, we would have had a 4-episode week and then a 4-episode week, and that would have been fine, I guess.
Yeah, definitely.
Or 4-chapter, but yeah.
Yeah, no, we good.
Yeah. Hadrian leaves. Krim runs up to him and tells him that he'll never fail him again, and Hadrian gives him a stern "see that you don't." In his best, like, almost Darth Vader impression. There are a couple of, like, almost Darth Vader-y moments here with Hadrian not intending to be as mean as he is, but also being, like, harsher.
Yeah, and he's wound up, for sure.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, you definitely feel for Grimm in this chapter. Like, he's about ready to fall on his fucking blade,
dagger.
And blade,
he's got a lot
and
of
other
daggers.
blade, and blade, and blade, and then his other blade.
In sequence.
He's about ready to fall on his blades. over
Stop,
this
drop,
whole
and roll on all the
thing.
daggers.
Just really do a jig.
Into the feet first.
And Hadrian's not helping, but like also like I get it. Like it's a tense situation. Valka's hurt. He's mad. He's also probably a villain ultimately in this story. And Krim is taking it pretty hard as he would. But that also shows us like we even kind of get a moment. I'm not sure if it's in this chapter or a near future one where there's an implication that Lorien thinks maybe even Krim was involved, and then that like becomes a whole thing because it's like obviously not. Krim's our good.
Yeah, that happens a little bit later.
A good
but
boy,
yes.
a rotten soldier, or our little soldier, our rotten boy, whatever the fucking Matt Berry character said from the Vampire Show.
Little
soldier,
good, rotten boy,
good time boy, right. Rotten little soldier, good time boy, maybe.
That sounds right.
Yeah,
it's goofy. It's a good show.
Yeah, it's Matt Berry.
Watch the Vampire Show.
Yeah. Hey, we talked about House of the Dragon in our Devil's Cut that you can check out on patreon.com/words and whiskey.
Yep.
I'm just saying it because I always get it wrong and I want to prove that I know how websites work.
And that you know our details at this point.
Yeah. There was a brief moment where I was like, who the fuck is that guy? And I realized Dan Folger was in that episode. Who was the guy from Balls of Fury and Fanboys, who I always kind of equate with like American Matt Berry in a certain way.
Mm-hmm. And he also plays the sort of stoogey, I don't know if you watch these, but the Fantastic Beasts movies.
He is in those. Yeah.
He plays the stoogey American like goofy stand-in guy.
Yeah, and I feel like...
And I really appreciate him as a character in that series.
Yeah, he's the best part of those series.
Agreed, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, it was just crazy to be like, that guy's from Balls of Fury.
Uh-huh.
You put some Balls of Fury in my Game of Thrones? Hell yeah, what's next? Christopher Walken?
Hell yeah. We'll
yeah.
Christopher Walken all over these nuts, yeah.
Shit, dog. We got to stop doing tangents. I swear to God, I'm going to lock in.
That's the first time that joke's been said.
But probably. I have never actually successfully pulled off a D's nuts on someone.
Oh.
Until 2 days ago during D&D.
You got him?
We were talking about which bar we wanted to go watch the World Cup game that we're going to go watch on Saturday. And my best friend Brandon, who's also the guitarist and second member of the band that I talk about sometime, that's
in the Devil's Cuts, you can definitely check out. Again, patreon.com/words and whiskey.
Please. I'll beg. Anyways, this episode might hit a record for the most amount of times we mentioned it. Anyways,
if we have $10 more, we no longer have to pay into the podcast to support everything. That's it. $10. That's it. That's two people. Please,
please,
we love you.
Please.
Also, just go subscribe on YouTube. Anyway.
He suggested one bar that's a good bar, has TVs and stuff, and it's a fun soccer bar, but it's beer only. And I was like, But I was kind of like wanting a spot like that I could get a Guinness and a JMO because I like that for sports. And he suggested another spot, and I was like, that could be cool, but do they have liquor there? And he's like, yeah, they have liquor. And I'm like, do they have candies? And he went like, candies? Like excitedly, like he bought into it so hard. I was like, candies nuts? And I have never felt so good in my life about landing a joke because I've never had someone excitedly set me up like that, and that's all.
That's amazing. That said, we'll go into Volka Awakes.
Mm-hmm.
We turn then to Volka laying in a bed, bandaged up, as he sits and holds her hand. And as he does, he falls asleep next to her and dreams of Brethren's terrible hands, as well as dreaming, screaming, laughing, listening to all of that, water running red with blood, Karn's voice screaming in different ways, and his own head lying on the lakeside, haunted by the events of Helling Dark.
Man,
still.
I love the bear. Hands! Yeah. I need hands!
Hands! I need hands!
Yeah, he's fine. It's so good that he's not having nightmares, as he makes sure to say later in this section.
Yeah, right. He's like, I don't have nightmares.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Right,
no, these are visions, not nightmares. Yeah, no, these are nightmares, bitch.
Yeah, right, dude. Chill the fuck out.
I do love that, like, it's in different chapters, but the way how we have this book broken down because of the format of how we're enjoying it. We get just a whole nightmare section. To later be like, no, I don't have nightmares.
Mm-hmm. That is, there are definitely reasons that I do these things, right? And this is one of them of like, you're saying this and you're contradicting yourself moments later.
Exactly.
And that's an important
Chapters
thing to kind of
later,
mirror
yeah.
here.
But, yeah.
Well, right. But
it's also, what... Oh, so I saw an interview with Rockio recently, actually, and this section made me think of it, where he was talking about tropes.
yes.
And how, like, original... It's the Bo Burnham joke of, like,
Originality is
original
overrated.
does not equal good.
Right.
And, yeah, it's like, he uses tropes on purpose. Tropes aren't things to avoid, they're a checklist. Like, these tropes exist for a reason. They're a way for people to, like, understand and associate characters. They're an archetype that they understand and know, and you can play with that and you can twist it on its head, but, like, you should be hitting these tropes, and these tropes should work as the tropes. Every good action story has someone waiting patiently next to the hospital bed for the injured person to wake up.
Yeah.
Is it a scene we've seen before? Yes. Is it a scene because we've seen it before, has the emotional gravitas of every time we've seen it before heaped upon it? Yeah. It's just right there.
I mean, not to like call out a completely different thing that's connected here within the podcast, but like the Assassin's Anonymous books rely on that. The first book relies on that trope a little bit. And there are two scenes that are like that.
Exactly. And the Assassin's Anonymous books, I think, are actually a great example of how leaning into the tropes can often be better than trying to fight against them. Because the Assassin's Anonymous books will be like self-aware in their tropiness.
Man, there's such a fun, and I've been reading 3-Minute Baby and trying to refresh myself in the beginning.
Oh, I paused my read. I'm still like 2/3 through. I need to finish it.
Okay, well, I finish it now, but this is not a significant spoiler anyway for anyone. But there is a moment or two earlier on in the first.
There's
third
a moment I'm thinking of in the third one, but
yeah, this is in the third book, where
is it the church?
They make this comment. Well, there's the comment about the church and like it being too like nailed on the head. Like, of course it's a fucking.
And he's like,
church with
wait,
the Russians.
that's what it is in John Wick.
That's literally what it is in John Wick. Yeah, exactly. So that was my like call out here, where it's like, yeah, and in that case, in that referential instance, it works perfectly as a sort of cyclical loop to like comment on the idea of like leaning into the trope. Rockio leans into a lot of tropes in these different moments in particular because they lend strength to character.
Exactly.
They lend different moments and give us like an easy connection point so that when he goes and does the crazy space shit that like we really want from him, we also like have a build up of anticipation. It's why he gets away with what's the chapter in particular? The purgatory scene that he gets to write from third person is because that entire thing is a trope.
Yep.
Right?
Well, it's like multiple tropes
trope.
over and over, and we don't know which one's true because it's just Hadrian imagining what might be happening.
Right. And we'll talk more about that when we get there, but like a perfect example of like, we understand exactly what that looks like. He's practically calling out Star Wars. He's practically calling out every Soderbergh film ever. Like, there's so much there.
It's so good. Anyway. That's the chapter I'm most excited, or that's like the scene I'm most excited to talk about, but yes.
Yeah, I'm like Council goes forward. I'm very excited to chat about this. The first two chapters, I'm like, they exist.
Yeah.
But
yeah, so they're at a hospital bed. Rockio fucking gets tropes and understands that they're a tool, not they're not something to avoid, they're something to use. Yeah. You don't want to be much like a handsaw. You want to make sure you're in control of using it and it's not pulling you along and doing its own thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's exactly what this all boils down to realistically is like he allows for the tropes to kind of fuel different elements of the story, not to overtake them.
I think, coin it right now, Josh Ramsey, genius writer. Tropes are like power tools. The more intense and powerful the tool, the more you better be confident you know how to use it. But the more effective it is if you do.
So I don't want to steal your thunder from your analogy, because it's a very good analogy. It is very similar to Chuck Palahniuk's note within Consider This about authoritative power and directive voice. Yeah. Highly recommend any writer.
Well, hold on. No, tell me that. Because that just means I thought of the same thing as that really smart guy you like.
Yeah. Right. Well, it's Chuck Palahniuk.
So I'm as smart as
fucking
Chuck Palahniuk.
Fight Club? Yeah, right.
So I'm basically as good as Chuck Palahniuk. You've heard it here first, folks.
Right. That's what I said for sure.
In a vacuum, I thought of the same thing as him. So, and I
absolutely
have gotten drunk and punched myself. So
not that dissimilar.
So
yeah.
I often
That
imagine
said-
I'm Brad Pitt.
So say we all, but Volka stirs Hadrian awake, and her voice is thick as she laughs and talks about her injury, how she'll definitely recover, and we really see the depth of Hadrian's love for her. He threatens the men who did this with death, and her reaction is altogether different than her reaction to the violent threat towards Gilliam. And we get a little bit of reflection within the two chapters on this, in particular from Hadrian, and the way that this has sort of shifted the chivalry of it all, or like the reason is very different. Hadrian also shoots down the idea of it being Selene, which leads to a bit of an uncomfortable note between them as well, as there is maybe a little bit more discomfort on Valka's side than she initially mentioned, as she's like, oh, it's Selene now, as opposed to the princess, as he had been referring to her before. So
I also, okay, because we know what we know about Valka and like her physiological ability to like decide her emotions almost, that, oh, it's Selene now, to me didn't read as jealousy. It read as like her calling him out for dismissing her as a possibility because, oh, it's Selene now. Like it came from a logical place to a degree.
yeah,
but she said it in a petty way, but it specifically to try and pull him out of it.
Yes, we're on the same page, for sure. I don't disagree with that at all. I do think that there's maybe something else there, which is at the very least stated pettily.
But I do think that also, like, and there's something to explore there, and maybe Rockio does in the future, of if she's in such control of her physiology as it relates to her emotions, does she then ignore the fact that maybe still, even whenever it comes to deciding what chemicals go in her brain at what time subconsciously, that are still led by her own petty emotions, you know, like there's layers, like Shrek up in here, but
yeah,
Valka is Shrek
in the end.
Yeah,
Valka, Shrek.
Yeah, but
just like
the Selene of it all is fun here. I do think that like even just me as a reader, whenever they're like maybe it was Selene trying to get rid of Valka, I thought that was a thin one, just even me, and it's possible. But I was like, Selene doesn't seem threatened by Valka, and it's been shown societally, people just have, like, lovers and concubines and blue girls and everything else. So, like, it wouldn't seem like Valka was someone needed to be rid of if Hadrian is currently playing the courtship game, which he's doing because the Emperor told him to.
And on top of that, Selene herself kind of made mention of her and also like dismissed it almost as okay.
Yeah, she's like, oh, that's your paramour? Cool.
Yeah.
You want to marry me?
Right.
Cool.
Yeah, right. Exactly. So like there's a little bit of like a natural connection there on her side even.
Yeah.
To like just admit and own that.
But it's worth bringing up, like, oh, does she see her as a threat? But I think that it's of all of the different possible culprits they come up with, Selene feels the thinnest. Maybe in the end, the big reveal is that it was. I don't know. But, like, the reasoning they come up with, at least, feels the thinnest out of there.
Yeah. I mean, both Selene and Alexander feel pretty...
Yeah, but there's almost something more to being like, he insulted me, he should die, from somebody who's literally, like, a son of the Emperor.
I agree more, but we're talking, like, inches as opposed to, like, the natural miles.
It's still thin.
Yeah.
It's still thin as shit. And then you're like, oh, maybe the Chantry wants you dead because people are beginning to think you're a god. Maybe the Emperor wants you dead because people are starting to draw your emblem through the empires as a dominating force. Maybe the people on the council want you dead because you're a nobody from the gutters who was disowned by his family that's then risen above them through just sheer force of will and accidental luck. Fucking, like Starship
and
Troopers style.
You. Yeah, right.
He's Starship Troopers level of promoted at this point.
Yeah, great comparison.
These are all much better reasons to kill somebody than he hurt my feelers or he has a girlfriend.
Right.
Yeah. But
possible.
People have killed for
probable.
you hurt my feelers, and they have killed for you have a girlfriend. So yeah.
Horrifying. As stated, you know, and I love this idea too within the conversation that we're having right now. In the text, love consumes, so the aphorism goes. I've not found it to be so. Love is not a burden, though it is a responsibility. a duty. Love is an honor. In office we hold an oath. And it's just like a good little thought from Hadrian on where he comes from with his understanding of love and relationships and emotion. He takes it very seriously from an interlocking of hands. This is why he felt so strongly when speaking about marriage previously and sort of the way that he felt. We can get that and we can understand that more clearly, I think, here in a couple of sentences than what that argument was kind of getting at, which he was on an uneven footing to begin with.
And I do think it's presented nobly, and overall, like, I agree with the sentiment. But also, he didn't have to phrase it in a way that made it sound like being in love makes you a cop, you know?
Well, yeah, more like a knight or a paladin. Yeah. We've mentioned before that, like, this motherfucker is like the most, oathbreaker paladin.
Oh my god,
ever.
so much. Yeah,
you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, absolutely loves the idea of oaths. Cannot uphold one for the life of him. Breaks one at every turn.
Every turn.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's a great little Gibsonism twisted on its head to then be turned into melodrama through the lens of chivalry and knighthood in such a Hadrian way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Weirdly, like, that small paragraph there is maybe like the mission statement of who Hadrian is.
I think it is in a lot of ways, and I think that's what I was trying to get at, saying that, like, our previous conversation with him and Valka in the Cloud Gardens, like, it's a good argument. There's a lot of good there, but, like, there isn't a, like, great touch point or like interaction point. This is why he feels that way. Finally, we can get it in kind of a condensed form.
Yeah, and
as a mission statement. Yeah. It's not that it's also counter to what he was saying or anything like that. It's just a little bit more even keeled.
Yeah, I think something that I think is happening a lot in this book is just everything's a little bit tighter, and that includes Hadrian's own view of himself and his thoughts. Everything's tightened up a little bit, and also that's because Hadrian's learned about himself over the past 2 books. But some of that's just like the writing's a little more concise.
Yeah. Rocchio's figured out how to do both in the way that we wanted. Ooh, cut. He's getting more concise, and that's great.
Yeah.
To round out this chapter, he thinks again to his dreams of a better world and sort of like this whole ethos that he had throughout Empire of Silence as she kind of begs his dour ass to smile instead of worrying. She reminds him of Udax as well, and the Chantry sort of begging him on to assassinate, having been involved in that attempt, and their mental summoning makes him reflect on his imagination of the multiple Hadrians. He swears to her in the end that he will get vengeance for what they've done to her. We'll talk about the multiple Hadrians in a second here, but anything else on the chapter itself?
The multiple Hadrians we'll definitely talk about. The Udax of it all is interesting because I think that this is one of the first times really just directly we put into perspective how much time is passing between each of these sections of this book.
Mm-hmm.
Udax was decades ago. Crazy.
Decades?
I think that's what he says. That was like 20-something years ago.
Technically, yes, because of space travel, because they froze. So, yes. Living years, though, like, not. Realistically, like...
But Hadrian implies it's like a long time
You're
for him.
You're totally correct. He stayed up during the night journey.
Exactly,
right? So,
yes. So for
him,
Hadrian,
it's been
a
that
long
long
time.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that like puts that into perspective in a wild way, because that was just like, I mean, it was a number of chapters ago, but that was just some chapters ago.
2 weeks. Yeah.
Exactly. Also on that, like, I didn't even think about Udax as part of it. And then it seems like she's like, maybe Udax did it, but then like reframes it. And it's like, no, it's not that Udax did it. What did Udax say? You thought it was a priest.
Yeah.
And like, that's, whenever that happened, I was like, yeah, dude, the Chantry's trying to kill you. They might have like other people that they're kind of working with, but the Chantry's involved. Come on.
I feel like I also have to correct myself here. The Udax thing happened before they left on the suicide mission, and then they came back. So that is the reason that we've got multiple decades, basically.
Yeah, it's a long-ass time.
Yeah, I mean, and space travel takes a long time, considering.
Yeah.
But yeah, to your point, the Volca is like kind of in her fugue state, reaching for things, and still has a perfect memory, but imperfect phrasing, in a lot of ways.
I had a
remembers
thought
everything.
just now that has nothing
Yeah.
to do with what you just said, and I'm sorry.
Okay. No, hit me.
Hadrian is a medium wealthy rich kid
Yep.
who
I
dreamed
would
of.
say low wealthy rich kid at this point. We can
Yeah.
like pretty. Yeah.
Well, I'll say like from his upbringing, medium wealthy, because
Sure.
the
He's
whole
he's like a nothing burger of a house though. Like,
yeah.
he's,
Well, I'm saying he's not like from a billionaire family, like but
Sure,
like
sure,
he's
sure.
still like
Yeah.
someone you'd be like, that's a trust fund kid.
yeah. But his trust fund will run out and won't provide for his kids. You know?
Sure, yeah, but
Yeah.
I just realized his dream. All he ever wants to do is go from star system to star system, doing his night journeys in his little, or his very big spaceship. Is he the sci-fi equivalent of like rich people cosplaying poverty by doing van life?
If van life was military service, for sure.
Which usually I feel like there's like some involved.
You know, man, it would be
It's like he did ROTC. and then just van life.
it would be like Doctors Without Borders or something
Yeah, that sounds
closer
right.
to that.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
okay,
like
okay.
it still travels through the world a little bit more. Van life is a little. I don't know.
I feel like
I understand what
he's,
you're going
he's
for,
only
but-
happy and he takes
yeah.
solace in these times when he's doing these night journeys, these decades between the
Right.
stars. And it's not actually the military service he likes. He hates that shit. And I don't think he likes the
Kind
fights.
of. I think he kind of enjoys that.
I think he likes the lead up to the fights, and I think he likes
Yeah.
the long decades sailing from and to a fight. And then
You're
when
right,
he's in the
he's
fights,
mostly a
I don't think he
sailor.
likes the
Yeah.
fights.
He's got more in common with Odysseus in that way. You know, where it's
Yeah.
like he's very much like a
Original
guy that,
van
like,
life rich kid, Odysseus, for sure.
I don't think that's true.
Motherfucker didn't have to get on that boat.
Well, wait, which boat? To the boat to Troy or the boat back? You know,
Either.
which
He's
one are we
the
talking
king. He
about?
doesn't have
To
to
Ilium?
go.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, kings went to war. Kings were generals back then.
No,
But
we
sure,
wrote about
yeah,
kings
okay.
going to war. They didn't actually fucking go.
Well, I mean, maybe.
I'm
yeah,
so
I-
sure Teddy Roosevelt rode in the front lines with the pistol in hand. He didn't.
Well, I'm not
He did some
fucking saying
photo
Teddy
ops
Roosevelt,
and then-
but I'm saying like Menelaus is like recorded as being in war a lot of times.
Yeah, sure,
but,
recorded.
yeah, anyway.
How often do you
Yeah,
think kings actually
I don't
fought in
know.
wars? I feel like it's a lot less than we're led to believe.
I think it's more than than you're giving me right now, but
Yeah.
it's less than most people would think. For instance, I mean, most of the Crusades were fought, especially the Second and Third Crusade, were actually fought with the kings on the front line of the different countries that were associated. So,
Yeah.
like, they went out, and there are notable cases of a couple of them dying at different times, especially fighting Saladin.
Wild, yeah.
There's some crazy shit there that's really interesting from a historical perspective. I bet the Greeks are in a unique camp because like they're more like big tribes, if you want to think about it that
Yeah.
way, as opposed to like kings properly.
for sure.
Although recounted as kings, as you want to think about it, that's a whole separate thing. But yeah, I mean, like the Mongols equivalent of a king, obviously, with the various like Hun leaders, you know, Attila's descendants and otherwise. Yeah, I don't know. I think that there's probably a solid mix before 1400 or 1500 is where I draw my line. I bet we're close to like 60%.
Okay, yeah.
But then after that, aggressively lower.
I think I
And, like,
definitely,
way
even
more.
on those ones that were going, I think about them very much so in the first Lost Sense of It with Giselle. You know, it's like, oh, they have to see their king, but you can't actually be like out there. Like you got to stand up
Yeah.
there with a banner, and then we're gonna just like get you behind.
I mean, like that's also why a lot of different kings like died in different moments, though, too, is because they actually did fucking fight. Like the whole line of like the Henrys, right? And like Henry the Fourth, I think it was the fourth, wasn't supposed to be king, and his brother was, but his brother died in combat, and so like literally died like leading the line as a prince and was supposed to be king. So like there's a lot of that too.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think
It's
it's
hard
a
to
good
say.
mix.
It's hard to say. Um,
Now, did he die because of like a horse charge that made it through when he was sitting in the back? Maybe.
Right, like-
well, no, not in that case. We know because of records and other things like that that was not the case. But in some cases, I bet. Yeah.
Or was it like, this was supposed to be like a perfectly safe charge, and then something we didn't expect happened?
I believe Henry IV's brother died specifically in a duel, which is why I know that.
Now,
that's
duels,
not,
that's different.
But it was a duel for the battle, so it was like a little bit of a.
Okay, yeah. Duels are a little different. I feel like that is a thing that happens. I saw Hamilton, but
Right. Anyway, to your point, more. I think more than you'd think, but less than more than you think personally, less than a lot of other people would think.
Cool.
If that makes sense as a range.
Interesting. Yeah. We should bring back
duels.
Presidents charging into the front lines, I think.
Great idea.
Yeah.
Let's do it. So, I want to talk about the three Hadrians. A lovely quote here, just to give everyone context. Often, I have thought that there were three Hadrians. There was the one who died in the Garden of the Demiurge, the one who sat at Valka's bedside, who was like the first, yet unlike him, both living men made of flesh, made separate by circumstances of their births, one in water, one in blood. And then there was a third Hadrian, one born only of voice, one never really born at all. There was a Hadrian the myth, not the man, and Hadrian the myth was truly immortal.
Yeah. This is where we start getting that as I lovingly coined. This is where we start getting that as I lovingly coined it. Maybe in the Devil's Cut. No, at the vibe check. This is that Lisan Al Gaib shit, like starting. This is that like Hadrian cult leader, Hadrian the half mortal. He's more the half mortal than he's the Marlowe. And like, I'll admit it. I'm no better than a plebeian. I'm in it. It's cool. I'm sold. It's fucking rad when it happens. Like, I'm easily influenced.
Yeah. It does leave a lot of interesting questions, I would say, on the other side of this, like of these three different Hadrians and his degree of separation, right? Like, he pairs 1 and 2 very intentionally. The third is what you're talking about, no doubt. But the first and the second are interesting. The first came from a planet that had a lot of water on it. He spent a lot of time near water, near the beach, etc. Again, very Lisan Al Gaib. This is very Paul Atreides coded, in Hadrian's beginning chapters are Atreides coded.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of Atreides in Hadrian specifically. There's a lot of other things and everything else. Like we said, tropes. Lean into them.
Yeah.
Have fun.
Right.
Write a new story with the same stuff we like. Yeah.
Our second one is instead baptized in blood, right, which is the one that we have at present. And he draws this comparison to the one holding hand with Volca, and I can't help but think are you just saying that like there's a separation between you pre-beheading and post-beheading, and like to what degree are you trying to draw the line here?
Yeah, I definitely read it as like, and I think we do get a little bit more about this later in the section. I get the implication that he's still not so certain he's the same Hadrian like now that he was before. Yeah. I think also
we're still a man.
Like within there's the implication of the Hadrian that was beheaded was also a Hadrian that had dabbled in warfare but wasn't a soldier. Coming back, he truly became someone bathed in blood in a way that he wasn't before. He was Hadrian, the wannabe scholiast who was trying to find peace. That beheading that day is the day he became Hadrian the soldier, like eater of sons.
Yeah, fair.
So that's also like, this is the Hadrian bathed in blood, like the Hadrian that has become this. But I do think there's an aspect of he thinks it's maybe a slightly different Hadrian that came back, and there's some implications that might be true.
Very, very fair and very interesting. Does that make the Hadrian at the end of time, right? Not at the end of time, but at 1,500 years from now that's writing this, the third Hadrian or the second Hadrian?
I don't know if he dies again. I don't know how many Hadrians down the line this guy is.
Yeah, but like, what does that mean? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
he's saying that there's three Hadrians, and it is
In a lot of
the
ways,
late
yeah, this is Hadrian
writing
who is the voice. This is Hadrian who is just the myth, the legend, the story. He's telling the story. He kind of is the third Hadrian, but also I think the third Hadrian is a Hadrian that Hadrian doesn't have ownership or control over. That's the Hadrian that the people decide he is. That's the Hadrian that like the masses claim him to be. So,
And he, in some ways, we could say, if we're talking about the end of time Hadrian here, end of time, I keep saying that, but the end time writing guy, the end of the plot line, he who is writing this is feeding into that narrative in his own way, right? When he's crafting this. So he's also myth building. Like he is doing both. Like, yes, at the current time, obviously the myth is building in its own way. But then also, in post of all this, he's taking the time to write this for everyone else going forward to read as a history. So is that not in two different fronts?
yeah.
Hadrian number 3? I don't know. Like, you couldn't let the work speak for itself. You had to write it down. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, you're so right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's a weird
Yeah.
note
Why
put
you
out
have
there,
to?
but
It's like
yeah.
this is Hadrian number 4 because Hadrian number 3 is the myth, and this is the Hadrian
Agreed.
who's like, okay, well they can't just be saying whatever they're gonna say. I have to. Well, no, hold on.
That's what
not
I was trying to
happened.
get to, and I'm glad
Yeah.
you agree.
Okay.
Yeah. I was like, I don't know that I agree fully with this being number 3. I understand where that perspective
This is
but
Hadrian
there are 4
fighting
at the very
back
least.
against Hadrian number 3 at the end of his life,
Or reinforcing.
or
in its own
reinforcing.
way.
But it has to be his way.
Yeah. Right.
His myth
right,
can't
exactly.
be what other people say it is. It has to be his
Yeah.
myth because at the end of the day, he's Hadrian.
Yeah. Yeah. He's got to do a little course correction.
Yeah.
Anyway, I just find that an interesting conversation because it's like, okay, I think that we can argue that there are more than 4 Hadrians, even within the context of the 3 Hadrians that you mentioned. There's probably 5 or 6 Hadrians, but that's fine.
Yeah. There might be a number of Hadrians.
I mean,
Who knows how many little
I mean,
Hadrians
hell.
are out there running around, you know?
which Hadrian picked headless Hadrian up out of the puddle? You know what I mean? Like, which Hadrian is that?
That feels like number 3. Pick number 3, my lord.
Or is it number like 5.5? Who knows? Like,
Who knows? We don't even know
Yeah.
that that's Hadrian. That
Very
might
true.
be Adrian.
Adrian.
He lost the
Adrian.
H around the, around the 4th one. But
and he lost to Rocky a couple of times. That said, we'll move on to the Council of Ghosts. Hadrian opens this chapter contemplating the conspiracy and counting himself lucky that the emperor is his friend, considering the Lionid lords lined up against him. Finally, the stalemate breaks, and he is summoned to the imperial office to discuss what happened. He is greeted by a parliament of ghosts, most phoning in from their various corners of the city or otherwise, or from distant places, all aligned against him.
yeah, this chapter is interesting. I don't know if I have a ton to say about it, but it's just kind of reinforcing the fact that the knife could have come from anywhere. Each one of these ghosts, these figures looming above, could have been the culprit, or all of them, or none of them. I don't know. It just kind of sets up like a visual like setting for like a who's who lineup of possible culprits.
It does that, and it also, I do think, establishes a little bit of like how do the actual politics work in this society, right? Like, how does this flow up to the emperor? The emperor isn't making all the decisions. The emperor is far away and often can't. So, like, how does this actually work? And we'd heard names and titles before, and now we understand what the council looks like.
Yeah. There's one guy who looks
Yeah.
like an owl.
Yeah. And then there's some other folks too. I do love, there's like a little side comment about like the lady who's in charge of propaganda, right? The head of propaganda, or
Was
the
it
head
the
of
one with like
media, whatever
the
hell.
the rat face, the rodent face, or
Yes. And it's just like, all right, a little on the nose. But like,
yeah. Oh, your master of whispers is a rat lady. Cool.
yeah, of course. Queen of propaganda. Got it. Yeah, I mean, there's just some interesting notes here. And I do think, to your point, this is building out our library of clue characters that are starting on start to some degree. But I do think it's also intended to give us some sense of what happens in the wider universe. We also are introduced to Hector here,
Yes.
of whom is the emperor's brother, of which you kind of have to infer through context clues because there's nothing. He says
I think he directly says it later,
Looked-
but barely here.
barely. And he says, looks like a clone of him. And so in multiple reads of this, I actually thought that he was a clone of Alexander. And then I didn't realize until the later chapter where we come back, he says, my brother. And I was like, that seems like a typo given the context of Selene before that. And then I went, oh, wait, no, okay. Selene, you're not mentioning that Selene is that you think that Selene is a brother, which would be an accident. You're actually talking about the Emperor of whom is your brother. Okay, cool. So there are places for the multiplicitous clones. Well, not clones, but like
basically
siblings.
Clones the long way. Yeah.
Yeah, clones in a natural way. I don't know.
Yeah, as natural as 3D printing is.
Very fair. Yeah. So we can move on from there and talk about the conversation that begins here. There's a great round of politicking. Everyone questions Hadrian, paying almost as though they like didn't know the details. They're, wow, we didn't know that. We thought you got attacked. And it's like, no, motherfuckers, I was with Selene, whatever. The Chantry is the one who speaks up, informs him that the knife has been destroyed, of course. Secretly as well, they've been destroying and manipulating their own records in the Tamerlane, which could definitely get Hadrian killed. That's mentioned multiple times. Again, not important outside of the context of this week, really. As such, Hadrian makes a play for their mercy, as he is, with the exception of Lord Powers being the only one here that has bled against while fighting the enemy that is the Cielcin. So, like, he's the only guy of whom, like, he has fought the Cielcin, and so he's like, come on, guys, give me a break. I'm the only, like, warrior in the room.
Yeah.
So that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun to watch Hadrian interact in this place with these people. I think his interaction with them later is more fun.
Oh, for sure. I love the second set of reactions here.
Yeah.
Which is why, like, that's just a wall of text summary.
Yeah.
To be like,
It's very much so.
Yeah.
It's like it's a setup for a cooler chapter later.
If we had split this in half intentionally, this would be a very interesting chapter to like talk through some of the different components and the pieces and see where it's going. And you could maybe weasel your way in a direction for a prediction in some realm, but also, man, there's not enough time in the day.
Yeah.
We don't have that kind of time.
Exactly.
So, yeah. That's it. Anything else there? The Synarch then continues his tirade and demands access to the Tamerlane as they're planning on searching for diamond threats. They mention that the ice wall that protects the planet is still up, which is funny, haha, opposite of a firewall, hee hee, laugh, and is maintaining their data sphere. So while there's no immediate threat, it's clear that they are to begin to be looked at from every angle, and as such, everything feels like it could flip over at any moment from Hadrian's perspective. He's like, oh no, oh my god.
Yeah, and I feel like this is where we really start to get the idea that, like, they're probably just going to come on the ship and plant something. Like, oh, no, oh, fuck. Maybe we shouldn't have destroyed the one piece of evidence that could have cleared us, but...
Or at the very least, like, given some direction.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. Yeah, seems like a pretty big mistake that Hadrian made last week.
Also, Damon, the thing you were talking about before. No matter what, whenever I see it or read it, I just think diamond. I'm like, why are they so mad that there's jewelry on board? You know? Yeah. For a while there, I was thinking, like, oh, are they, like, printing code super small into diamonds for the refraction to somehow... I don't know.
This happened to me particularly in the 7th book, and I will say this without spoiling anything, so don't worry about it. But obviously, we continue to mention diamonds throughout the rest of the series because they're an important backbone of it in so many ways. But every time it would come up, I'd just be like, yes. I would immediately imagine the image of Daemon Targaryen staring down at me, blonde hair, full on.
Yes.
Just Matt doing his absolute best.
Matt doing his best Holland cosplay.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yes, back to Holland from Norway, which is again a Devil's Cut thing.
Yeah,
but if
you want a really intense breakdown of the intricacies of football and its tactics and the World Cup.
Yeah,
check out the Devil's Cut at wordsandwhiskey.com/Patreon. In case that link is working, you said you were going to do it. Nope.
Yeah, no, I did say that I was going to do it, and I do think it technically exists.
Patreon.com/words and whiskey. Check it out. The Devil's Cuts.
It does currently 404, which leads to our very fun, like Lost themed GIF, which is our 404 page. Anyway,
fair enough. We got to get that up and running because I'm not planning on getting better.
No, I get it. In addition, I gotta change out the fucking main logo on the website. I just realized. Cool. That's the one thing I can change. It's just broadly PJ. Anyway, that's it. That's all. Cool. Anything else in this chapter?
That's he.
Sweet. Okay. With that, we will move on to the plan. The ship is very suddenly impounded, leaving the crew not much time to assemble and make some semblance of a plan. Of course, as noted, there isn't much to find, but it feels all the more likely as such that something might end up being planted by the Chantry or other forces instead. That does lead, however, to realizing that there's one thing that he should minimize, that Hadrian should minimize, if at all possible, and that's Valka's presence. She agrees to go back into Fugue to aid Hadrian here on this condition, basically. She's well enough to go in, may as well, because he doesn't want her to be discovered as, working with machines, even though,
of course,
it feels like that's got to be kind of...
There's a weird part of that where, like, I get where he's coming from, but also, like, it almost feels childish to be like, they don't know that she is a demoniac, And it also feels weird that he's like, if you just go to sleep, they'll forget you're here.
It begs the question of the wider Tavarosi, right? Like, are the Tavarosi known to be demoniacs, or is it this, like, to what degree kind of a thing? I don't know. It begs questions about the interactions between the Empire and the Tavarosi.
Yeah.
But Hadrian would be held in account either way, regardless of circumstance. So it feels necessary to remove her from the board.
Yeah, and it also makes it really easy to just, like, write from Hadrian's perspective for a little while. Yeah, whenever you are, like, making a show based on a D&D campaign and one of the people has, like, a bear companion and you're like, I don't want to animate that this episode. So you just freeze it for a little.
You're just like, no, you can't come, Trinket.
Yeah, sorry, Valka. Yeah. You've been here on the last time I got imprisoned, and I don't want to have to write about Hadrian's thoughts about you, so let's put you on ice.
Yeah. Instead, we get a very lovely moment of, Rockio kind of sneaking in a little bit of, like, dire romance again, like a nice, sweet moment. I can't remember the distance closing between us, only that it had. Both hands in her hair, I kissed her fast and fiercely. When we sprang apart, she pushed me breathlessly away. Her clan tattoo spiraled from her arm and collarbone down her left flank. How cruel, how inexcusable that I, who knew its every line and curve, and hers, can scarce recall them now.
Yeah, that line did hurt a little.
Yeah.
Damn.
To write so well and so lovingly reflecting on these things. I think a lot of times in some critiques that I've seen of the series, people boil down Valka pretty simply down to, like, just a romantic interest and nothing else for a number of reasons. They're not reading as closely. They're not, like, giving it the time of day.
Yeah, I disagree.
But I think if nothing... Yeah, I mean, it's almost impossible to. Like, what the fuck are you reading? I do personally feel like I think that it's important to remember that we're stuck in Hadrian's perspective in so many different ways. And also, this is Hadrian at the end of time, so how well is he remembering it? And this is just one of those flashes in the pan of him being like, okay, maybe I'm not portraying, like, our relationship, conversations, things like that appropriately. That's because I can barely remember her, and I want to so badly.
Yeah.
And, like, there's so much trapped in that one line, that those 5 words... can scarce recall them now. Like,
so far at the end of time, it's like, is this Hadrian setting his myth correct to the way he wants it to be remembered? Because he's also mentioned that he doesn't think anyone will ever read this book, or is this just Hadrian's small way of trying to shuffle back through his memories to live a little bit longer with the people he loved and lost along the way?
Right. Yeah. All the people. I mean, a great example of this is, like, both Switch and who's the other guy that he lost? Saltus.
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mostly this was all about remembering Saltus. It's crazy that whenever Hadrian sat down to write all of this at the end of his life, he's like, we got to make sure we bring up
That fucking guy.
Saltus.
Yeah.
And then everybody laughs and laughs and laughs at little Josh for thinking he's important. But Hadrian thought he was important. Hadrian remembered
enough to bring
more details about Saltus than he did Valka. So, hey.
Okay, hang on.
He remembered what color Saltus was. He doesn't even remember
Which is
Valka's
better than
tattoos.
I did. Yeah. Yeah. Fair.
It's like Valka, whose every tattoo and curve I knew. At the end of time, I can hardly remember it. Yet I could tell you anything you want to know about Saltus.
About that fucking guy.
That guy. That guy stood out, you know?
Yeah, right. Right. She was just my lover.
I was in love with Valka.
Everything.
I loved Saltus.
I loved that little fucker. I saw him for 20 minutes. Yeah. Yeah.
He called me a homunculus, and then he did a little jig, and then he probably stole my wallet, and then he died.
Somewhere.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Probably.
In the distant future.
I think enough centuries have passed that I have given up hope on seeing Dimitri or Saltus again. But and I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, who knows?
Fugue exists.
Yeah, true. Could work.
Yeah.
Could be there. Yeah. So we then get to a meeting with Krim and Lorien, and Krim has determined that no one on the ship was a stowaway, so it had to be a defector of some kind. Lorien points out that it was a misplay to destroy the weapon, which we already mentioned, much to Hadrian's ire in the immediate moment. Like, come on, fucking, I couldn't have called that. You couldn't have called that. And Lorien's like, no, I did call it, actually. Hadrian settles on giving Krim the record of Hadrian's death, the only one, which leads back to the conversation we had earlier about Lorien being like, are you sure you can trust him? And he's like, I gave it to you. I will trust you. I trust you with everything still, despite everything that's happened here. Which then also leads Lorien to be like, maybe it's someone in the mid ranks. Maybe that's the problem. Someone who had access to someone of whom could have planted it. So...
yeah, it's a tense moment, and it's like Hadrian kind of being in the middle of like Lorien and Krim. It feels like maybe Krim is like taking what Lorien's saying too hard, but also Lorien's certainly like poking at Krim a little bit with suspicion. But I gotta say, Lorien's my boy.
Yeah,
I like that guy.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he's pretty cool. It's really great when he shows up in the vents in the chapters. Man, what a moment. Yeah.
There's some stuff I want to say about him that more so matters
We've
later.
got a lot of Lorien. Yeah, we've got a lot of Lorien there.
But I guess, like, as a teaser, he kind of almost feels like he would be a FromSoft game character. Like, not a boss, but like a weird NPC you just find, like, leaning against a tree. He'd be like, sorry, fair knight. I seem to not be able to get up. If only I had some blue berries of the tree of gold. And then you try to talk to him again, and he's like, sorry, fair knight. I can't seem to get up. If only I had some blueberries from the tree of gold. And, you know,
and you give them to him, and then he shows up 40 hours later.
Somewhere else in a vent, and he's like, I've been looking for you everywhere. Do you know how small it is in these vents? And then you try and talk to him again. He's like, I've been looking for you everywhere. Do you know how small it is in these vents? Yeah.
And then you hit him to kill him, because that's what you do in those
exactly.
moments.
And then
because you're so irritated.
But then the vent opens and he drops in, and he's like, "Oh, thank you for getting me out of there. How about I break you out of here?"
Yeah, exactly. Speaking of like funny references, and one that I don't think is intended, maybe, I don't know. The quote is so close to the specificity, and I think you said that you read The Hobbit in the last year, right? Yeah. So the "what's in your pocket" question, which is the same riddle that Bilbo asks in many ways, as he asks.
I definitely thought of The Hobbit immediately whenever he was like, "What's in Krim's pocket?"
And then importantly, like, it wouldn't be a reference. I would never have called it a reference if the next thing wasn't Hadrian slipping on two different rings on his fingers.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have thought of it as a reference if it weren't immediately I slip an ivory bone.
It doesn't feel like a reference
finger.
in the sense of like a super direct one. It feels like something Rockio was having a little giggle while he got away with it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And again, like, not immediately relevant, but that has to be it.
Right.
Like,
you can't say what's in your pockets is and then put on a ring.
Right. A little bit different. It'd be what's in my pocket. Right. That's the difference. But like, you don't this has to be one. I'm convinced. I don't think that there's any reality in which it's not a
Yeah.
Hobbit reference. If not intentionally, yeah.
I entirely agree. It did at least make me think of The Hobbit in a fun little way, whether
Yeah.
intentional or not. But it feels too close to not be at least like a fun little tongue-in-cheek intentionality.
This is one of those. I read this 5, almost 6 times, and I was like, "That's every time."
Every time you think of The Hobbit,
that is
yeah.
a Hobbit reference. Yeah,
And then the
it
fact
just,
that
like,
right
it
after this,
screamed at me.
Hadrian gets in like a wine barrel and then goes down a river to escape some elves.
Right. Wait, that's not in the. I'm just
Yeah.
kidding. Yeah.
It's in both.
No,
It's in the book and the movie.
it is. I was going to mention the woman of whom is
Oh,
obviously
Toriel.
not- yeah, right, Toriel. Toriel? Yeah.
Yeah, and then there's a redhead for some reason, and Legolas is there. I think they
Right.
kiss. I don't know. Legolas's dad is Lee Pace, though. That's fun.
Very fun. Plays a mean. Oh my god, what's
Those
his name?
movies are so mediocre, and Lee Pace is so good in them.
Welcome to most of Lee Pace's work. You know what I mean? Like,
Lee Pace and Sam Rockwell love being the best part of a mediocre movie.
oh man, I hate that you said that because I love a lot of Sam Rockwell movies.
He's fantastic every single time and everything he's in. And then whenever he's in something like White Lotus, you're like, oh, holy shit, I forgot how good Sam Rockwell is.
Yeah,
But he's mostly
What's-
just the best part of medium bad but still fun movies, you know?
What's one of your examples?
Iron Man 2.
Great example, perfect example. I would even argue that that's a bad movie.
Yeah. But it's still funnish.
Yeah, it's funnish for sure. Do you have a second example?
Charlie's Angels.
That is the next best example that I can think of.
Yeah.
Because, like, man, I love him in fucking oh god, what's it called? Seven Psychopaths, right?
Yes.
Which is an incredible movie. He's also in Moon, which is like an all-timer science fiction movie. He was most recently, and I haven't seen this yet, but I've heard very good reviews. In
Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die.
it's like
yes, I've been wanting to see that, and I haven't.
I downloaded it for the airplane tomorrow. I'm going to watch it tomorrow. I'm so excited to watch it. I've been like gearing up. I've wanted to watch it for a very long time, and I was finally like, I'm going to have time with nothing to do. I'm going to watch that. So
Yeah. It's also important
Super
to remember
excited.
he was also in Argyle, which was a terrible movie.
Okay, yeah. That's fair.
His first ever role is one of my favorite movies, but I wouldn't call it a masterpiece. It's Galaxy Quest.
Galaxy Quest is kind of a masterpiece.
Pretty much a masterpiece. You're right.
Yeah.
Similarly, also kind of a masterpiece, but also kind of like crazy to think that Sam Rockwell is in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. You know, like
Very true. I forget that he plays the guy. He's also in 3 Billboards.
it's also
Stabbing
in
Mississippi.
Cowboys and Aliens.
Missouri. Sorry. Yeah, Cowboys and Aliens is pretty bad.
See, he
Yeah,
loves
yeah.
being the best part of a bad movie. Sometimes he's also
And he
in
and
great
Jon Favreau
movies.
do enjoy working together.
I think
There's
his
a
thing is he'll
rabbit.
just be in anything, and he's always going to do his best.
He was in the Green Mile, man. I don't know. Yeah,
He'll say
In
yes to
particular,
most
though.
things.
I guess the reality is that I like him in most of the things that I've seen him in. Man, I forgot that he was in Matchstick Men. Just looking at his repertoire here. He was. I recently rewatched the '90s Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movie, as we talked about in A Devil's Cut, I believe. He plays the head thug. I do
does?
not
I did
remember
not
that.
know that.
Apparently, I didn't notice.
He's Sam
That's
Rockwell,
crazy.
baby. He could be anywhere. You don't know. You turn a corner, all of a sudden he's talking to Walton Goggins about how he doesn't know if he just wants to bang Taiwanese hookers or if he wants to be a Taiwanese hooker. Being
True.
banged by
What a-
himself.
What a scene.
What a guy.
Did he get nominated for an award? I fucking
better
hope he
have.
did. Yeah.
Anyways, Sam Rockwell can do no wrong. I don't. He like in my short list of favorite actors. I never think of Sam Rockwell, but if someone were to get me a cameo for my birthday and it was just Sam Rockwell dancing and then he says my name, best cameo I could
Yeah.
possibly get.
He'd be like, "Hey, man, hope you're doing well. Here's a little dance.
Let's just do a
somebody
little
paid for."
jig.
And he'd do it, and he'd be like, "Happy birthday."
I feel like Sam Rockwell's who Tom Cruise is trying to be whenever he plays someone charming.
yes, Sam Rockwell is. You're so right. Sam Rockwell is Tom Cruise's acting clone. He is the actual actor of the two.
Okay, so to get back into the book,
Yep.
you have Sam Rockwell. You can cast him as any character in the first 3 Sun Eater series books. Who are you casting Sam Rockwell as?
Oh man,
It's a hard one because I don't know. There's no perfect. I could see Sam Rockwell doing a really good Polino.
So I was going in the direction of Hadrian's crew, and I like that you went Polino. I actually think he would make a better Crim.
Yeah, I feel like I'm getting to know Krim now, but I still don't know Krim super well.
Yeah. I feel like Crim gets a lot of screen time this book compared to Polino in the last book and in the short stories and things like that. But I do feel like Crim is kind of right there. I want someone a little bit goofier though.
I feel
As
like
I'm
if Sam
thinking through
Rockwell
this.
played Polino, it works because Polino is inherently going to be shorter than Hadrian due to the
and he
blood.
also-
I also feel like
Yeah.
Sam Rockwell, you could do hair and makeup correctly to where he looks super fucking old, and you could also de-age him just with hair and makeup to where he looks super young. You could just have Sam
Yeah.
Rockwell play both Polinos.
That's very true. You could definitely have him do both. And I also think that like he's brash in the same way that Polino is, so I like that because he's got kind of a
And it
he
changes
can play it
Polino
off.
a little from being like the gruff soldier, but like when he's telling his stories, if he was like if there was like a shimmy to it, if he was kind of dancing through his stories, you know.
You know who else he would play really well? This is a little bit of a and perhaps a little bit of a miscast. He would make a mean Mataro, Baleen
Oh,
Mataro.
Interesting.
He could totally do it. Think about the way that guy like does
Yeah.
politics, and I'm realizing again that this is sort of like whitewashing one of the very clear not white roles.
Yes, yeah.
But the way that he acts in particular is what I'm thinking about
Okay.
mostly.
Yeah, I could see.
Um,
You know,
You
I
could change
also
other roles, whatever.
he could probably play like any of the Jadians.
He'd make a yes, totally correct. Oh my god, he'd make an incredible Lauren.
I was thinking of Lauren. Yeah.
Yeah, he'd make a very good Lauren. He would also make a pretty good Cassian Powers, frankly. I really like Cassian Powers this week in particular. He's only here. It's practically a cameo in an episode.
Hear
But he could totally do it.
me out.
Okay.
Sam Rockwell is Karn Cigar.
I mean, he's dead. That's perfect. He's in one.
Tell me,
That
would
be-
it kind of
that'd be
work?
fast. It would be.
Like,
That's so interesting.
imagine
'cause-
like whenever you film it, you make Sam Rockwell film the scene with Hadrian where he's seducing him, and then use that footage as like acting coaching for then the female actor that comes in to then play that character for the actual filming. So she has to try and act like Sam Rockwell, acting like what he thinks she would act like.
wow, that'd be very Ex Machina-esque.
Yeah.
But crazy. I love that idea.
I can't wait to say Sam Rockwell as a lady try and seduce the kid from Game of Thrones or House of the Dragon.
Oh my god, yeah, right,
Jace.
exactly, because that's who we cast.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah,
Forget his name.
Amazing.
But all right, we should back into this.
very fair. That said, we round this out with the boys being assigned their task. Hadrian reminds Krim that he trusts him implicitly and demands that they find who did this. This is sort of, if I split this in half, we have investigation and then we have execution.
Yes.
One way or another. So,
You can almost hear the like fusion jazz funk starting. You know, he's like, "How many guys are we going to need for this? Like at least 11."
there is a little like Cowboy Bebop almost to
That
some
too-
of this.
Yeah.
In like a,
There's some
in
Cowboy
a
Bebop.
scrappy way.
Yeah, it's like it's not quite a heist, but it feels heistish. You know, like they're setting up a plan, kinda. I don't know. Later, I feel
Yep.
like it gets more heisty, but more action heisty. But there's a really fun kind of outmaneuvering, almost Death Note-y thing going on here, where it's like, what do they know? But we don't know if it's them or them. So we have to assume that if they know, then this is what they'll do, and if they know, then this is what they'll do. But we're one step ahead of them because it's in your pocket. You know, like,
Right.
yeah. Where'd the Death Note
Yeah.
go? Krim has it.
Ooh, yeah. We'll see where it goes. Cool. Anything else in this? Josh.
Cross?
What you drinking? What's your deal?
Well, I'll say we started off the episode with a nice microbrew local beer, a Miller Lite,
Miller latte.
a Miller Lita. Leftover from a 4th of July party.
Excellent. Good choice.
Yeah, it tastes like beer.
Fair. It's there.
Honestly,
Yep.
don't hate it. I don't drink a lot of light beer.
Beer flavored.
Beer flavored, pretty good.
Yeah.
And then we're having a not grony. This is you're also having a not grony.
I'm having a Negroni.
Oh, just a straight up Negroni.
Yeah. I mean, kind of. I fucked with it.
Yeah, mine is
anyway.
It's a little fucked with. It's 1 part gin, 1 part Aperol instead of Campari, 1 part dry vermouth instead of sweet vermouth. Some shakes of orange bitters.
Not that far off.
Okay, we have the same.
So, I mean, frankly, yeah, that's pretty crazy in a lot of different ways. I'm sure you're aware, but maybe the listeners aren't, that Aperol is just watered down Campari.
Basically,
it's literally just it is.
Yeah.
It's the same spirit. They just take it and they dilute it with other flavors, of course. So
It's
like bring it down,
diluted,
but
but there's more
it's
citrus
Campari.
to it. Yeah,
Yep, exactly. It's Campari, but in a different playing field. It's fine.
it's orange spritzed, watered down Campari.
Exactly. Mine is pretty similar. Honestly, I wanted to make like 1 didn't feel like enough, but 2 felt like too much. And also, I ran out of my gin after 1, so it was perfect. So I did a 1-1-1 of a Campari recipe, sweet vermouth and everything else. Then I had to get a little weird with it. I did do the half Campari, so 1.5 Campari, and then I did half vodka, so one gin, half vodka part. And then I used a white wine in the middle here. Now,
So you have a
was
1.5
afraid-
Negronis, but the half is weird.
The half is weird. But then I used orange bitters to kind of even out, to get the oranginess, because I didn't have any. But then also because of the vodka and the extra wine, I was concerned for the flavor profile, like verging too far away. So I spritzed absinthe on top for fun.
I thought about doing absinthe,
spritz.
and I also thought about
Yeah.
topping with soda water because it's already like brighter and more citrusy and like an Aperol spritz combo type of thing.
Yeah.
But then I was like, man, who am I kidding? You know?
This is also being not gronies from very different like fields, which is very funny. This is not a Negroni, but it is still good.
Yeah. Mine turned out pretty damn good, actually.
Nice.
I assume you had a
I
name,
am
but I'm
excited.
just gonna call it a...
No, mine was. I was just gonna say it's not a Negroni. that's
So our drinks tonight are
you called it with the,
Not Grony number 1 and Not Grony number 2.
yes, and they're close and similar. And Josh, I'll tell you what, I didn't do this tonight, but I did get a new phone so that I can take better drink photos, so I can post them again, because my old camera could not focus on my other phone. So
My brother
long-standing
recently
problem.
visited for 4th of July, and he had a little digital disposable camera with him, and I fucking loved how it was taking pictures. I kind of want to get one just to take drink pictures.
that'd be fun.
Yeah, so it's like an SD card. It's just you can't actually see what you're taking. You just take a bunch of pictures, and then
Yeah.
you have to plug it into your phone or your computer, and then it uploads it. But it has like filters that make it look like vintage. Like,
My girlfriend's brother does that too, and has a very. I don't know if it's the same thing, but has
Yeah.
a similar sort of thing.
I would love to
Yeah.
take drink pictures with that. So I've been thinking about that. But also, I haven't been very good about taking pictures of my drinks. And I feel
Yeah,
like
it's been
we
a
can
little
get better.
better.
I can get better for sure. You're doing great.
We did do the in the fives thing, or I did the in the fives
Oh, I need to
thing.
do that. Yeah.
I realized that I missed the very obvious one, which is favorite cocktails. So I would say that you should assemble yours to post this week, and then put in favorite cocktails.
So it's like 5 favorites of 5s. Is that?
Yeah, so it's 5 things of like however many you can do, however many categories you want. Generally speaking, I did standalone books, I did series, I did movies, I did video games, I did albums, and I did nonfiction books. I think is what I did.
Cool.
I don't think I missed
I'll rank
anything
my
there,
5 favorite Creed albums, my 5 favorite Creed songs,
but please.
my 5 favorite Creed
did I say albums?
snare sounds.
I did put. I did put albums in there, but yeah, I mean, to the point though, like the thing is pretty much whatever you want. Just the biggest thing that we would want to hit, in general, is like bookish stuff.
Yeah.
Of course.
No, I would
but then-
definitely do my
then
favorite
the-
series, and I might do my favorite individual books.
Yeah.
Could even probably do
movies.
authors. Movies for sure I could do. Music,
Yeah.
albums or bands or songs I could definitely do. Cocktails I could
but
do.
I can't believe I didn't do cocktails. I thought about it after the fact, and I was like, motherfucker.
What
how
about
did I
favorite
miss-
fictional authors?
Hadrian Marlowe. Right
Hadrian
there.
Marlowe. There he is.
We would also say that I would also
Not,
say the
he's no
narrator from Fight
Swarbrick,
Club.
but
Swarbrick's also good. Swarbrick's in there. Narrator from Fight Club is also right in there.
Pretty good.
He is Jack's spleen.
Can I have a fictional writer be a fictional character of a real writer? Can Chaucer from
Explain.
A Knight's Tale?
Chaucer. Okay.
Chaucer, yeah.
Yes.
From A Knight's Tale be considered a fictional author?
We'll count that Chaucer.
If it's specifically the one played by Paul Bettany.
Correct.
Okay.
As long as it's Paul Bettany.
Yeah. Paul Bettany.
We'll take it.
Yes.
Okay, so that's 4.
Yeah. And then
Right? Wait.
And then probably can we count SpongeBob because he wrote that really big the?
No. We're not counting fucking SpongeBob.
What about William
kidding.
Shakespeare because
You
he
can
wasn't
count.
real?
There you go. Absolutely love it. I didn't talk about the beer that I'm having. I've been switching. Again, it's vacation time for me, folks. So you get to give me a break. And also, I had a big dinner, so I feel okay. But I'm having a Tiki Monkey, which is Victory Brewing. If you're unaware, for those of you that might, they make a lot of different sours and sour varietals. This is their spin on a pina colada, but in the form of a sour. It's delightful.
Hell yeah.
They normally don't do stuff like that. They normally don't verge out of like beer flavored beer. So it's interesting for them to have done this.
God, I
and
love
it's
beer
perfect.
flavor though.
Dude, I mean, true. Incredible. Good stuff. And then I am also having this lovely triple berry jam sour ale that I talked about, the other beer that we bought from this brewery last week from Lenny Boy. So, very good, very
I might have already
tasty.
told you this in a previous one. But whenever you do finally visit,
Yep.
I did a walk recently just around because I do be walking. And I made a mental note while I was going. Bergen, Karl Strauss, Ballast Point, Bolt, Three Punk Ales, and there was one. There's 6 breweries within a half-mile radius of my apartment.
Hell yeah. So we're just going to do a little tour.
If you want to do a brewery tour, and then also there's a bunch of cool fucking speakeasies and speakeasy tiki bars, like varying eras that I want to
That's
take
like
you to.
my jam. Yeah.
One of them hasn't
We're
opened
gonna
yet,
do
but
this,
it
don't
will
worry
be
about
by
it.
the time you get here. And it's
What's its name?
Throne Room. And it's all like dark heavy metal 80s style fantasy.
Oh, interesting.
Chain mail, everything, like wax dripping. It's fucking sick. I've been seeing posts about it a lot because it's from one of the restaurant chains I follow. But
Okay.
yeah,
Love that.
restaurant groups.
That'll
not
be a
chains.
fall thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Come drink with me in San Diego. Let me show you.
will.
Let me show you what we've
will.
got. Every drink you get's going to cost twice as much as it would have where you're from, but
Not necessarily true. Our alcohol is actually a little bit more. Our cocktails are a little bit more expensive because we are in on sale only state, which means that we as consumers buy at the same price the businesses do. So
interesting.
cocktails are a little bit more spendy than most states. However, it's still probably like a $3 or $4 markup.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah. Some places we're going to go to and you're going to get a $12 cocktail and it's going to be pretty good. And you're going to be like, that's not bad. And then we're going to go to some places it's going to be a $24 cocktail. And you're going to be like, the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, that's fair. There's one place in town that does a $20 cocktail. That's incredible, but
I've been to,
I get it.
yeah,
I get what
I
you're
feel like it's common, like at the fancier, more speakeasy ones, to be in the 15 to 18 area.
Yes.
But yeah, there's one I went to recently where they were all like 24, 25. And I was like, these are good. Are they $25 cocktail good?
And only if you're doing like crazy, like, I don't know, fucking manual pea flour reductions. And
Oh, for sure. I mean, I was definitely getting like a
eggplant
hard to
bullshit,
find
you know what I mean?
absinthe, and it was the full absinthe service with like
Right.
the big ornate water tower that was slow dripping over the
Okay.
sugar cube and shit. like-
Sure. Yeah.
but still,
Give it to you then.
but still, that was absinthe and water and sugar. It was just
Right.
slower till I could drink it.
Yeah. It stopped me from drinking. Anyway, with that, let's get into the Good Soldier, which is one of my favorite chapters that we have to talk about this week.
Yeah.
The men stand ready to greet whoever it is that is bound to join them on the Tamerlane, and they're shocked and surprised by a Grand Inquisitor in their Egyptian-styled garb to show up. This woman directly answers to the Synod, and in many ways is more terrifying than the Synarch that we've been speaking about before, Synarch Virgilian. Basically, it's like a hand and mouthpiece, respectively, as Hadrian kind of points out. Again, we drew comparisons previously last week to someone in the mouth of Sauron. What a better comparison.
Yeah, this is the hand of the king in the mouth of Sauron, you know?
Right. Exactly. It informs Hadrian that the ship is to be turned over to her for the time being, and that he is going to be put to the question.
And Hadrian knows what that means. So
yeah, he's like, uh-oh.
I did that once. Oh, no.
Yeah. And Brethnak sits in the wings, and he's like, yes, and I am here to oversee because I have so much to lose if this goes poorly.
Just the knight.
And
that's,
then
that's just the guy, just Sir Brethnak.
Brethnak, not Oberlin.
Oh,
Brethnak.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yes.
Brethnak is the guy. Is the bad guy. Yeah. Yeah. Director of Intelligence.
Yeah, no,
Brethnak
you're
is
so
like,
right. Yeah.
I have so much to lose if this goes poorly for you, Hadrian, so I want to be here. And it's like,
I have so much to lose if this doesn't go poorly.
Yeah, exactly. That's really what it was.
Yeah.
That said, from the anything on sort of the intimidation that Hadrian experiences from, the chick.
Yeah, it's a good introduction. I'm trying to get better about feeling like I should say stuff, so I just say stuff until something comes out good.
That's fair.
I was intrigued. You said Egyptian style garb, and that's kind of how I read it as well. I mean, it's explicitly stated, but like
it is line for line, which almost feels anachronistic in a weird way, because how would they know that it's Hadrian does because he's a student of history, but how would they know that it's Egyptian style?
Yeah.
And also,
it's so different
like
than what we're doing, you know?
But there's also like a layer of gauze generally between us and the interpretation, right? It wouldn't be if Rocchio or Hadrian is describing this to us.
It was like bangles, like large metal bangles and
pointed
calves,
angular,
and bare chests and long cloth pants and stuff like that. Like, yeah, that would sandals and chariots.
Exactly. I mean,
Ralph Fiennes and also for some reason Steve Martin and the Prince of Egypt.
Oh yeah, sure. Speaking of the Prince of Egypt,
that movie fucks. I watched it again recently since like childhood. That movie's so good.
It's still so good. I watched not the Prince of Egypt literally yesterday. This is what I did with my time while folding a shit ton of laundry. I watched Exodus, Gods and Kings.
Different movie.
Different movie. But it's Ridley Scott. Ridley Scott's one of my favorite guys. I was like, I kind of want to like a pick me up fun movie while I'm doing all of this like stressful packing and planning and stuff. And a better movie than the reviews say that it is.
I only remember seeing it once, but I did not enjoy it. I mean, not that I didn't enjoy it. I enjoyed it. I did not think good movie.
It is a fine movie. It is in the absolute mid tier of Scott movies, I would say. Yeah. Mid, like lower mid.
Well, and Scott's weird because all of his movies are good, but he's also able to make all of his movies bad a little if he wanted to.
He manages to pull this movie out of, I think, hell with how good he is, if that makes sense. We then get to the conversation of infestation and the 12 abominations against human nature. It feels very like the seven deadly sins coded in a lot of ways. But
I have a side tangent on the 12 abominations, but we can get there.
We'll get there. We'll get there. We'll round this out. And their influence, eventually Sir Friedrich Oberlin, of whom we were talking about just a moment ago, and an inquisitor, Gerion, which is named after a saint from Cologne, Germany. This is an interesting subpoint that we'll get into after we talk about what you're talking about and the context of this. But enter the room to have Hadrian put to the question. What occurs is an excellent rendition in many ways of an interrogation that is reminiscent of something out of Blade Runner, of which you still haven't seen, right?
No, I haven't.
To determine if he is human. I will say, this is the best.
Well, I've seen the original Blade Runner. I just haven't seen.
Okay, well then you're aware of the interrogation.
Yeah,
right. Yeah. Okay.
I've seen two different
some
cuts of
reason-
the original Blade Runner. I fell asleep in the first one like twice, and then I watched a slightly tighter cut.
Got it.
That people say isn't necessarily the better cut, but it is like an hour shorter. And I made it all the way through, and I really enjoyed it.
The director's cut is the best cut.
I think
for
there's
the record. And I also
a definitive
there are-
cut or something like that.
There
that I
are
tried to watch.
4 or 5 cuts of that movie. It's also the movie that I think I've already talked about this on the show. It's the movie that popularized director's cuts to begin with.
I think the
It's
director's cut is the one that I did end up
director's
finishing
cut.
and enjoying. There's a
There's
more
the
modern,
final
longer.
cut.
I tried
Yeah.
the final cut, and I was like,
Yeah.
this is long. And I think
The
it's
final
great,
cut I think is like 220 or something like that.
but it's not a movie
crazy,
that's
but
like
it's-
designed to be 220.
Right.
I think it's great for like people who already loved the film and wanted more. But for someone just jumping in, I was like,
The theatrical cut is the only thing that you should never watch, and I would never
I
recommend
haven't.
because
No.
it has overbearing narration over top of everything
interesting.
from Harrison Ford because the studio didn't think that people would understand the movie, so he narrates practically every
That's-
scene.
Yeah. In the
Yeah.
studio's defense, people probably wouldn't have understood the movie.
Well, the movie could have never done as what it did if part of it is in both camps. Like we would have never gotten the director's cut and the things that happened if it weren't for their interference. Also, the movie probably would have done better if it would have just been the way that it was because it was a good movie. Not perfect, but it would have been middling successful.
Sometimes, and I don't want to give studio heads or capitalists any credit here, but sometimes I do wonder if, like, the things we love, like Lord of the Rings, for example, if I think that the extended editions are just inherently so much better. Like, so much better.
Mostly. Yeah.
But if those released in theaters, I don't think those movies would have done as well.
No,
It's,
right.
you build the audience and they ask for more and you give them more, and I'm okay with that, you know?
Yeah, I think that model is a successful model in a lot of ways. It is exactly what Warner Brothers did with Doctor Sleep. Mike
Which
Flanagan.
I never saw the
turned in-
original Doctor Sleep, but I really want to see.
You should. You can see both. It's not that big of a deal. But he turned in an almost 3-hour cut, and they said, "We fucking love this movie. It's perfect. However, we need something that we can release into theaters. We will, though, release this version immediately." As a part of the agreement, they're like, "We're not even going to contest you. This is a brilliant movie.
gonna put this out and then we'll
but
put
we
that
need
out."
something that people show up. We need people to show up to the theaters." And they didn't quite. They like recouped the budget. The director's cut released, and everyone loved the director's cut. They loved the movie already. It's kind of one of those like weird.
That one maybe
moments.
could have just come out, the big one.
Maybe, but also I think that like there was good intuition from the studio to like deliver a shorter cut, just from a perception perspective. Like people at that point in time were having trouble with 3-hour movies to begin
I'm
with.
also
So
I'm a
don't release
Flanagan
it? Yeah.
TV show binger. Give me 10
Right.
hours of Flanagan. I'll watch it in one sitting. Like I just like what
it's
Mike
practically a
Flanagan does.
mini series. It could have been like 3 episodes.
The only
of a
reason
TV
I
show.
don't say Mike
Anyway.
Flanagan is one of my favorite working directors is because I see him more as a showrunner. But
Which, I mean, he's both a showrunner and a director and a writer all
Yeah.
at once, generally, for a lot of these projects.
of course,
That said, let's talk about this little section here. Friedrich Oberlin, you had things that you wanted to say about the 12 Abominations. Do you have anything before we get into that about the sort of setup of our scene here with Girion Oberlin character-wise?
honestly, like Sir Frederick was such a background character to me. This is one of the chapters I listened to twice because I was like, "Who the fuck is Sir Frederick?" Whenever he becomes important later, because he's just kind of there.
Yeah, you're like, oh, cool.
Yeah, glossed over. Not a lot going on. Garion. Okay, I have a qualm with this chapter, and it might be just on me and my own attention span while I was trying to consume this chapter. And that is, there's just like a lot of names thrown at you and not a lot of description, and that makes it really hard
Sure.
for me to like be like those are two characters. You're just saying words. There's names, and we're not like something that
Also, Hadrian later says that he never sees Garion ever again.
Yeah.
Right? Like, he specifically is like, this man does not matter in the larger
I think
context.
it totally-
However, in that moment.
I think this is one of the things where being almost exclusively audiobook hurts me. Whereas if I was reading, I think I would have picked up on certain characters more. But in an audiobook, people are just saying fucking names, and I think it's something that like Joe Abercrombie does so well. Is he'll just give you like the smallest tag, and this ties into what I was going to talk about with the 12 Abominations. Of like, there's a throwaway character we only ever see in the scene. He has a name, but he doesn't give you the name. He gives you the fact that he has a name, and he has shitty teeth. So now we're going to call him Name Shit Teeth.
Yep.
And like all of a sudden, now I can picture that character. I'll fill in. You tell me he has shitty yellow teeth that are rotting and some are missing. I can fill in the rest. We'll all fill it in differently. It doesn't matter. I can fill it in. I feel like I get nothing to like fill in on some of these characters in these scenes where it's so bureaucratic and there's so much happening, which is kind of the point. I think that Hadrian is kind of remembering it as just like moving shapes, and he remembers the names and he knows that these are important people. But it's so amorphous that it's like hard for me to picture this section of this scene. I love this scene in a second, but this moment was almost like overwhelming. Like,
yeah, there were 3 people that entered the room with a black briefcase. One of them is dressed in vaguely Egyptian garb. And again, the whole Egyptian here feels so strangely anachronistic, where like nothing else does in the series, because again, it's not described, or it's not given us, again, that like bangle lens that we were talking about beforehand. And I just... it's not wrong. It's not. But
it is kind of, because it describes.
It doesn't stand out.
It describes. Yeah. It doesn't make it stand out. Someone comes in an Egyptian garb, whereas if it was like chiming bangles that were banging against each other, now I understand like a certain like auditory annoyance. Like there's no.
It's just moving around the room.
There's no physical or visceral attachment to these characters. I guess, if that makes sense in the description. Like, I love a description that's.
We're missing a sensor
that makes me grossed out, or makes me annoyed, or makes me horny, or like, whatever it is. Like, give me a description that's like something I can tangibly, viscerally hold on to. And like, these are all just like, they're wearing clothes, and you're like, okay, here's 3 of them. What clothes are they wearing? Yeah. White. Okay. Like, and this isn't a dig on it, because I do think there's a level that it's purposeful, because it's just people moving into a room. And it should feel disorienting and like overwhelming. And there's just, here's more people, here's more people, here's more names. With all that said, I want to jump into the 12 Abominations thing that I had.
Yeah, hit it.
At this point, it's kind of disjointed. But it goes back to Joe Abercrombie. And I always think about Joe Abercrombie and Christopher Rocchio being 2 fantastic authors on such extreme opposite ends of the spectrum of approaches to storytelling. I bet you anything Rocchio has all 12 Abominations figured out before he even brings them up. That's the 6th book. I am very casually rereading The Devils, but reading it, not listening. Very slow going, because I feel like I put Pacey and Abercrombie too close together, and I'm like, what does this feel like when I just read it? Anyways, it reminded me that there are the like tenets of the faith in the Devils.
Right. Yeah.
That he lists as different numbers multiple times. And then he also lists across different people more than the amount of numbers, regardless of which one you take.
But that's the joke.
And that's like the joke, exactly. And whenever in the interview he was like, "Oh, I don't know what they are. Everybody's got a different idea of what they are. I can just say whatever I think it should be in that scene, and it's fine, because the point is no one knows what it is." Like, he's so
religion in the 1400s, 1500s.
He's so like his thing is he world builds through how it feels and the reality of it, not through the actual truth of what's happening. Like, the truth is inconsequential to a degree, and it's about the world you live in. So the world building is the world you experience, not the world that is. Whereas Rocchio very much so builds the world that is, and then like obfuscates it from there. Like, he creates a lie around it,
And I agree with so much of this in so many different ways. I do totally fundamentally agree with you that they are diametrically opposed, that they have like very different structures. What's so fascinating about the particular fight that you've chosen is, or in this, not a fight, but like the particular point that we're standing on, Rocchio never, and I had to look through everything because I was like looking for additional things. he doesn't ever talk about more than 3 of these, and it's just these 3.
Okay.
So he
Yes.
pulls some of this shit too. That's my point. Like,
Well, and that's,
but because he does everything else so deeply, he can just do shallow things like this.
That's kind of what I was
sometimes.
bringing up. Is I feel like whether we ever learn them or not, Rocchio has all 12 written down.
I don't know that he does though in this circumstance. That's my
wanna know.
difference. Is like I don't know that he does.
I don't know
so
if
much
he's
as it's
capable of saying 12 abominations and not writing them down.
That is maybe true because like there are the forms of obedience and there are so many other things. But part of me believes that he did the forms of obedience and hammered that into us to be like everything has a reason.
And then now he doesn't have to.
Now I don't need to do the rest of the
let
fucking
us
work
fill
because
out
you
the
believe
rest.
me. Yeah, right. Because you believe me, and I'm of a mixed opinion on that.
Same.
But yeah.
I feel like Rocchio
think-
does a really good job of world building to the point where he proves to us that everything has an answer and a truth, so that we believe that. Whereas Abercrombie,
we don't know,
does even though there's not, and that's the whole point of the story to a degree.
Yeah, right.
Whereas Abercrombie does a good job of world building in a way where anything is fluid and nothing has a truth, to the point where whenever he presents us a truth, it's always shocking.
Right. Definitely.
It's just like running up a mountain from 2 different sides. You get to the same peak.
Yes. The biggest difference is the pockmarks on the way that you have to hop over.
Yeah, exactly.
Drive onto.
Yeah, but anyways, I wanted to bring up the 12 abominations because it just reminded me of in that interview that I saw so recently, like whenever he came to San Diego with Joe Abercrombie, where he was talking specifically about those and how he's like, I don't know what they are. They don't know what they are, so why should I figure out what they are?
Yeah, right, exactly. It's such an interesting and good comparison. I would recommend this more widely to. I believe that Sanderson and Abercrombie just put out a YouTube video on Sanderson's page where Abercrombie interviewed Sanderson for an hour and a half, and it was fucking incredible. The two of them,
they are so different as people.
It is in so many ways they're so different as people, but they bring out the best in each other as they're talking to each other in a way that I can't think of another contemporary author pair that does that as well, that I've watched any conversations between or otherwise, because they are so diametrically opposed in so many ways, but are so fascinated by the other's craft.
Fascinated by the other's craft, respect each other, and like truly believe the other is like a master of their craft, and like that's
great at what they do. Yeah, I mean, it's brilliant, and their conversation is excellent, and I recommend it widely.
I saw Pierce Brown interview like some dumbbells recently. That was crazy.
I think there's some Pierce Brown Joe stuff coming out pretty soon.
Hell
too.
yeah. Well, I know that they've been hanging out more. I saw an Instagram story where Pierce Brown was just very clearly super fucked up at Joe's house.
Yeah.
Not super recently. That was like months ago. But
I think there was also Joe was stateside and they were signing some shit. And
in LA, the day after I saw them, they were together.
Yes, they did like a little interview series. I think it's on their Lit Escalates Patreon.
Yeah, it's from the same tour.
You could choose to support Lit Escalates Patreon, and we definitely understand that. However, they are a micro corporation, and we are but a little outfit. You can support us at patreon.com/Words and Whiskey. And again, if you do,
in fact, if you have the means, you could support them and us.
You could, and you could experience both all the Devil's Cuts that we have lovely provided week to week,
and
with a ton of fun bonus content, and
the new releases of the Devils.
And that Heretics. Yeah.
Oh, I was just talking about. I think Lit Escalates has. It's not new, but they have a nice version of the Devils. That's all. You want to talk about Lit Escalates? We were talking about this.
The nice version of the Devils. What are you talking about?
I could be so wrong. I just feel like there's
a book version.
Yes, like there's a version of the Devils that looks nicer. Is that
no? That's not through them.
Oh.
There's one through Broken Binding.
Broken Binding. That's what I'm thinking of. Sorry.
Yes, I will. This is where I re-shout out something else. You can also check out the episode in which I interviewed Joel from Lit Escalates, and we chatted about the art that he did for the Devils and otherwise. It's a great little conversation. Highly recommend it.
I will say Lit Escalates has a lot of great Devils merch that was presented at
created by Joel. Yep.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Joel. Hey, what's up? Hey.
Yeah.
Did he make the little candles?
He made the candles. He made the bookends that are in the actual book. Like the
oh my god, that art is
papers.
insane.
That's all Joel.
Fucking incredible.
Yeah. He's also in the Met at present. So if you want to go see Joel, you can also see him in the fucking Met.
Like his art's not there. He's just been out a lot. No, his art is there.
He's just buying a daily ticket.
He's just there all the time.
Joel is in the Met. It's crazy. Joel to me is one of the coolest
insane.
people that I've ever interviewed because like he is such.
If I interviewed someone with something in the Met, I would just tell everybody forever.
It felt like a very unique opportunity. He was doing it to promote the Devils at the time and the art and everything else with Lit Escalates when we did that conversation. But I wanted to talk to him about everything that he had done. You know, like he wanted. We did talk about Lit Escalates. We did a lot more. But man, that fucking guy.
Damn.
Few people more talented that I've ever talked to.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway.
All right.
The Blade Runner of it all, Frederick Oberlin, the Blade Runner test, which is very interesting, and we're going to get into the results of that here because this is a fascinating little test.
This is a great moment in this chapter.
Hadrian records the entire conversation with a desk click, which we get a little bit of a feed out on later.
Such a cool move, by the way. As a reader, he was like, oh, they think because I don't have cameras that I don't have plans.
Yeah. I still record the sounds of us banging.
Yeah.
Just not the video.
He's like, this one's for me. I don't have security cameras. I have freak cams. Let's go.
Yeah.
We did get a recording of the entire interrogation. It is from underneath the seats.
It's just assholes.
It's all upskirts. And they are in Egyptian garb, so you know it's skirts.
You really see Garian's rear end. Sidebar, I don't know that I talked about this.
Half of Hadrian's mortal, for sure.
And it barely gets more than that, frankly. He is a shower, not a grower, and it's not a great showing.
Oh, man. Do you think Hadrian's doing okay down there? I don't know. It's hard to say.
Impossible to say. I mean,
he's
like
never
the
brought
way the guy
it
talks
up, and I
about
feel
himself,
like he would have if he was proud of it.
Never once mentioned it, and otherwise. So I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, I did want to mention Garian and the sainthood thing before we fully move on, and I do really want to talk about it. I want to hop back to this for just a second. This is where, and at this point in this novel, I believe, is where Rocchio started to take on a little bit more of a, how do I say this? He filtered a good amount of the book and his writing and asked questions and had a faith mentor as he reconverted Catholicism. Right. And I do feel like there are elements of this, not that are like innately influenced, but I think that there are some names that are pulled here that are like deep cuts in a lot of ways based on the experiences and conversations that he'd shared therein. There are some like kind of pullouts here that I feel are interesting. Garian is one of them that feels like too strange of a saintly pullout to be random. But I don't have context necessary. I do just know that there is a wonderful, and I'm forgetting his name in the immediate moment. There's a wonderful father that is directly involved in the community, especially within the specific Discord community that has been excellent and commented on a lot of things and talked specifically about some of the conversations that were had. And some of me feels like some of these pulls that are random and strange, especially from Catholicism or old like Eastern Orthodoxy and things like that, tend towards, I don't want to say his influence, but his recommendation for names and things like that. Not that it's like a correlation, but there's some odd recs here and there.
I do feel like
you wouldn't have never known that Garian was anything. Yeah,
I feel like every time a name is brought up, I assume it might be something. But and you know, if I'm ever being harsh on religion, it's probably because I was raised Protestant. You know, Catholicism at least has great art and a lot of cool history. Well, bad history, but also cool history.
We'll say mixed.
Mixed history nonetheless. Yeah, so
As someone split raised between Baptist and Catholicism, I have the worst and best of both worlds. I don't know. It's a little bit different than like strict Protestantism, but yeah,
I think that Catholicism as like a cultural and heritage thing is actually like fucking cool.
Hey man,
Great
I was
art,
left-handed,
great
and the
culture.
Baptist said,
Yeah, the Baptists will be like, you
is sin.
left-handedness is basically being
sin.
gay. Yeah.
Yeah, right. And they forced me to write with my right hand. Anyway, cool.
You got sent to left-handed conversion therapy camp?
Basically, like 4. Yeah.
And now probably a little ambidextrous, so thanks, God.
Oh, no, my handwriting is terrible both ways, which is even better. Yeah.
Thanks. All right, cool.
Yeah, thanks, God. So again, recording this conversation, he admits to the carbon fiber bones immediately. We then get a series of simple questions meant to test his body's reaction, to set a baseline, which feels very much like a sort of like classic sort of test in this case, before he's injected with adrenaline and asked questions that hit both further and closer to home. I kind of love this test from the perspective of us understanding Hadrian's moral psyche a little bit more clearly than we ever might have gotten in any other way. It's so unique.
I do love that he's like, oh, like this? Like a lie detector test. You know you can't detect lies through that. They're like, we're not looking for lies. We're looking for your response. And I was like, okay, that's still like, you can't really get a good... And then they just hit him with the adrenaline, and I'm like, oh, that would actually kind of work. Like,
yeah, right.
You just put someone where they have no control over their fucking faculties, and then you do this? The only thing is they did their baseline before they hit him with it, but like...
Well, maybe they can adjust for
the
I would
body's
assume
adrenaline
in the future
response.
we can
adjust. Right. But yeah, what a wild thing.
I mean, especially
like,
considering like Volka can inject herself with adrenaline, right?
But unless she was already injected with adrenaline, maybe that would...
Yeah, right. If the body can call for shots at the same time, we could assume that on the opposite case, if you're not anticipating it, it could create like an interesting response at baseline. They could adjust for it and understand what adrenaline
Okay,
would
so
do.
this is a weird question, and it just popped into my head, and we don't have to go into this. But I do know that generally speaking, the way how the body gets rid of like chemicals that it did too much of, lipids, things like that, is just it puts it in your pee.
More often than not, yeah, pee or breath.
Yeah, I think if Valka did this, she would just have to decide between whether or not she answers the question or pees.
Fair, but like pissing yourself is not a response that's going to be received well. You know?
Did you do this? Hold on.
Yeah. Volka wore a diaper to
like
her
you
interrogation.
Can't just reject like a full dose
injected,
of fucking anxiety juice out of you, you know, like
right. Like, what would you do instead? Like, call for an opposite serotonin response to block the receptors?
Yeah, because
like,
uppers and downers certainly equals normal.
Well, but if they get there first, it might help, but it's not going to solve the problem
for sure.
Yeah, right.
If I'm too coked out and I drink a bunch of liquor, I definitely am now sober.
Yeah, for sure. It's a little bit different when it's in your body. I think
they're all in your body, baby.
Well, the processing time is different. This is not the same.
I get what you're saying. But also, it is kind of the equivalent of just like trying to balance chemicals is just a short way to get yourself more fucked up.
Total nightmare. I really love this test, though, from his perspective of the way that he answers these questions, right? Where he's presented with the sort of like different moments. And he says to open the way, which is terrible after he gets injected with the adrenaline. And it's, image flick displayed a family, man, wife, children, plebeians, a family, a ship, a sanctum, death, crime. And he gives like these single answers that he's supposed to
dog
be making.
rotting on the streets, disemboweled people. Like,
yeah, right. We just go into a lot of these. Flick a house, flick a castle.
Do you know what kind of reminds me of? Did you ever watch True Blood?
I have watched the first season of True Blood and no more.
The first season of True Blood is pretty good. If you're looking for campy vampire romance that's surprisingly decent for the time. I think it continues to be pretty good. There's some good stuff in there. Regardless, the theme song, like the intro to True Blood, is just like flashes of like people dancing, and then like a church, people praying, and then like a raccoon that's been roadkill rotting on the street with maggots, and then like
Yeah.
for some reason I just kept thinking of the intro to True Blood on this, and I know that it's just like just an association test, which is like way beyond just that, but just I don't know, something about the pacing of how it was read.
Yeah, this is very Rorschach test coded in a lot of ways, right?
Yeah.
Like this is all call and response in a lot of ways. And then he starts to show like deeper images of things that like Hadrian probably
His
saw,
own
like the
like
body in the slab.
body cam footage,
Yeah.
basically, like
Right. Yeah.
crazy. Yeah.
That's a lot for him to process as he's kind of think about it. And he's like, man, there's just so much of this. In the end, you know, he sees like the Skahari, the pillar's skulls, all these other things, arms and legs for kindling. There's just this sort of like terrifying reality to him. The thing that I love the most about this is that we get a sense of where Hadrian's morals lie finally, along some kind of clear-cut spectrum with enough data to be like, this is how he feels and this is how he reacts. He's not trying to sell anything.
Yeah.
This is who Hadrian is in this moment, in a unique window of time.
Yeah, we get a
He's very paladin, very justice coded, very
yeah. Aren't all the worst people super sure of their own moral superiority, though?
yeah.
As of right now, I do like Hadrian. I'm vibing with him. I actually like him more in this book than in previous books. But he is starting to
Which is
present
crazy,
himself
'cause he's
slightly more as a
way
villain.
more, yeah.
Yeah.
This is way more fascist than he's ever
He's
been
more
before,
fascist than
but
he's ever been, but at least he's not a bitch.
This is all true and accurate.
He's like in the sweet spot right now where I can already tell by the back half of this book I'm going to be like, what a fucking cop. But at least right now.
But I like the cop is
He's kind of fun.
and I enjoy the
yeah,
cop's
right now
presence.
he's Andy Samberg, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, you know, but like
Yeah, right.
by the end of this, he's going to be like, where are your papers? So
Right, he's very papers, please, you know, in kind of the best and no, the worst ways.
Yeah.
The worst ways.
yeah. But yeah, it's interesting to see his Rorschach test and kind of get these little blurb, these sentences about his thoughts on it.
Yeah, I mean, it's quick, it's short, it's not meant to be more than it is.
I don't
but
think
we
there's
do
a
get-
lot in there that like his response is something that's surprising or like gives new insight too much.
Man, I think that it's not so much that any in particular moment is surprising from a reaction standpoint, so much as it is like he gets very specific in certain moments where he like reflects one moment in particular. He says, "Flick, suit footage taken from my own men. I was almost certain, showing the eyeless man on the Cielson dining slab. Rage flared in my knee, and I spat victim." And so, like, there are moments in which he just kind of comes out
Yeah.
in a way that I don't think that he himself portrays as much vitriol in the immediate moment, and said, like, this is the most clean cut that we feel Hadrian's emotions about these things. He says that he feels hatred towards the Cielson for different moments. He says that he's afraid and then he wants to kill them. He says all these different things. This test
True.
puts it in front of us in a very different way than I think like a lot of other protagonists are ever
Yeah,
intended to
yeah,
do.
definitely.
Like no, I can't think of another outside of, again, Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, Blade Runner, any other character that's put to a test quite like this in this kind of a way. I mean, again, maybe Paul Atreides in the box, but like,
Right.
Ugh.
I also do think
Not
it's really
to this
interesting, like
degree.
the concept of this being a test to see if he is just a recreation from Karn Cigar, which is a question he's had. So that's fun.
he himself has had
That
yeah,
he's
which
like,
is,
very actually willing to take this test. Like he wants to know.
he's kinda
He
like-
wants the answer. He's not holding anything back. He's not trying to lie. He actually wants to know.
right. He's like, hey man, I'm not trying to be inaccurate, and also like he has nothing to gain by being
Yeah. I do think
know.
this could have been an interesting spot to put a few more answers that weren't so immediate in the story. Like this could have been a shot to put like just a strange image that then Hadrian decides to equate to Crispin or something like that. Like this could have been a spot where like you show a like a bull being like held down by ropes and he's like Crispin or something like that. Like this could have been an opportunity to just like show some more like weird insight that he hasn't even necessarily internalized. Yeah. And I was actually kind of hoping it went that way whenever I read it. And I know that like you shouldn't read things hoping they go a certain way. You should enjoy them for what they do. But like,
do you not read? Okay, let me read you a paragraph real quick.
Yeah.
A Cielson Skahari warrior snarled at me, face masked, fangs exposed, ceramic blade in his hand. A glittering bathhouse, men and women lounging naked in the steam. 3 dozen human slaves hanging mutilated from hooks. A garden of jeweled bright flowers. A dead dog in the streets of some city, its stomach ruptured on the tarmac. The damasked face of a gas giant. Stacks of arms and legs like logs for kindling. The sunlight caught in the rigging of solar sails. A pillar of skulls.
See,
not a one of those stings to you?
No, I just wanted I wanted his one sentence answer to each of those.
Okay, sure. Yeah. That's fair.
That's all. Like, yes, these are the images he was shown that he remembers.
Mm-hmm. I think it's interesting that he cut him out because we know that he recorded it.
Yeah.
We know that he has this recording.
Exactly.
Right?
I want those answers. Like, I want some weird insights into Hadrian. I want like a unmoving tree and it's like mom for some reason, you know, like some weird shit. Like I wanted those like weird throw-in insights that we get just in like quick sentence blurbs that then get overshadowed by the story that carries us forward. But
yeah. A la Rorschach from Watchmen, I think, in the moments with his.
And we don't even get it after that. Hadrian doesn't even yell, "I'm not locked in here with you. You're locked in here with me."
Yeah.
And then does like a cool cartwheel to break someone's wrists, you know?
Right. That said, I love the paragraph that comes right after that. What Girion might not have seen in his instruments, I could not guess. Another Hadrian might have known. That Hadrian who had honored his father's wishes. Perhaps along one of those rivers of light, there was a table much like this one, where I sat in the white mantle with shaven crown and put some other man to the question. Perhaps Girion himself. And again, another Hadrian among our spectrum.
Now we're up to like 5, you know?
At least 5 Hadrians.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Love this chapter. Love this. We'll round it out quickly here with the end of it. Girion eventually settles on the fact that he is in fact human, which is also in a lot of ways a relief for Hadrian himself, which he was not quite sure on. He thought he might have been a clone. He could have been a machine. He was not.
I felt pretty sure he wasn't because of the way the story's written, but also like, I don't know, it was kind of relieving for me too. You know?
Yeah, it's kind of like, okay,
we can set that aside. We can be for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not Karn's clone in some way. And as he gathers the papers, Hadrian notices that Oberlin leaves a note for him saying, "Knife arranged by director. Priest involved. Bought one of your lieutenants. Castor, Castle. Don't know. Mean to plant diamond on ship. Not sure how." While this proves Lorien correct in the moment, what is insane to him is the rendition of his crest over the Imperial Sunburst, like you mentioned earlier, which is very similar to Udax's crest that have been carved over on the other side. As Hadrian's myth is spreading, and Oberlin is an example.
I think we might have even seen this version of the crest all the way back at the end of Howling Dark.
Maybe.
I can't remember for sure, but I feel like
I think it's the beginning of this book. I don't think it's
okay.
I don't think it's Howling Dark, because I do think that it's post. I think it's post-death Hadrian. I don't think anyone's carving this yet.
Well, I know
there's
just that like scene where he kind of gets like everybody's like full believers as he comes back at the end of Falling Dark.
They are, but they aren't carving it yet.
I feel like that image might have existed in that scene, but I could be so wrong. I think I don't know.
I don't think so.
Okay.
But I appreciate that you're calling it out. So talk about your other thoughts, and I'll look it up.
Oh, basically that this is that Lisan Al Gaib moment I really was referring to. Just the tag there, oh fuck, what's his name? Oberlin? No.
Oberlin.
Yeah.
Yep. Oberlin. Friedrich.
Sir Friedrich isn't just helping. Sir Friedrich is a believer.
He was notating. He was there like notating, and instead it's like this is a faithful man, but faith in Hadrian.
He's a believer. Like that's specific phrasing,
right.
So yeah, it's crazy. Like he just at this point, like the focus is very much on the fact that Hadrian has enemies everywhere. He has knives everywhere. But there's like these little moments where it's like, yeah, but Hadrian has believers everywhere. Maybe not everywhere, but anywhere.
I did just scan the end of the chapter. There was no reference.
Okay, that's okay.
To the symbol here, but importantly, though, this is the manifestation of that chapter.
Yeah.
This is that coming to fruition in some way. Like this is spreading, and it is faith, which is a very different beast.
Yeah, and it's
than power.
Yeah, this isn't respect. This isn't power. This isn't station. This isn't any of the forms of obedience. This is fanaticism that's beginning to grow around Hadrian.
Yeah. Which I don't know how many books you've read that feature faith leaders as an element of the story. Few? Well, what are other examples?
I would argue Wheel of Time.
I mean, okay. Oh, actually, not a bad.
Very much
call.
So.
Yeah.
Also, I would argue his Dark Materials.
Well, but that's very intentional.
Yeah.
But understood. Yeah.
I haven't read Dune.
His Dark Materials is right there.
But I've watched Dune.
Not necessarily like the books aren't faith.
Right.
But like, I mean that from the perspective of like the character doesn't believe that they're creating a faith and then everyone else does. And that's a case in both cases. But yeah, anyway, there aren't that many characters that I feel like in fiction.
Oh, yeah, very.
Centers of belief.
Very,
you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I'm looking at my bookshelf. I'm like, no, you're right.
Faith is a weird element. And a lot of people, I think, would feel alienated by writing about faith because naturally, the moment that you do, you draw comparisons to existing ideologies.
Yes.
And then that becomes a problem for people where they're like, oh, this is
it's your ideology or not your ideology, it draws a problem. Like either way, in both directions. So,
and I fundamentally, Christopher has talked a lot about what he's writing about intentionally here. I'm not going to talk about it. I'm not going to spoil that for any reason. But I can just go ahead and say that, like, buddy, old pal, takes inspiration from Christianity and a lot of other faiths.
Yeah,
obviously.
of course.
But this is not Christianity.
No.
He is not doing that specifically.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
The Holy Chantry faith has, like, more in common. I feel like it has commonality with, like, Inquisition-era Christianity.
Sure.
But it also has a lot in common with, like, as far as the religion itself, more pagan religions.
Right.
So it's an amalgamation. It's Earth, it's the sun, it's the Holy Ground, it's the Holy Wars, it's the Emperor, God King. So it's like, it's a little Christianity, it's a little Catholicism, it's a little paganism. Like there's
so much mixed in here.
Which the term paganism, whenever regarding certain faiths, is maybe disingenuous because it's a blanket statement for like a bunch of different faiths. But I'm not an expert on them, so I'm not going to dive into them.
We do know within this also that there are like 12 gods that they worship in addition to the 12 abominations.
Exactly.
So like we've gotten like 2 or 3 of those throughout the story so far. Not that it's super important, but like that's there.
Yeah,
right?
it almost feels like the 7-pointed star of Game of Thrones, you know? Like it's closer to that than it is to like a functional religion I can particularly pull from.
Yeah, exactly. That's a great comparison, frankly, because there's still one progenitor in this case, which is Earth in so many ways. But yeah. Cool. All right. Well, with that in mind, unless you have anything else on Girion and sort of the end that we get with Oberlin,
I think I'm okay.
we'll get into impossible tasks. We then turn to another chapter of Hadrian locked in stasis, unable to move, hoping that all of the pieces around him are doing their best to move and support him. Lorien manages to make it into Hadrian's room, despite his initial fear that it might be an assassin. As he climbs out, our Intis buddy gives us an update on the going-ons of the ship and crew, having all passed their own individual inspections at this point, as he falls out of that vent, as we mentioned.
Lorian's doing his
Die-harding.
best Die Hard.
Dude, it's so good.
I knew I liked Lorien. This chapter sealed it for me. He crawled through the fucking vents, and Hadrian's like, oh, how did you know? He's like, I didn't. Someone had to crawl through the vents to figure out what's going on. Like, that was his idea. He was like, we got to go check out on Hadrian. I'm going to crawl through the fucking vents.
I think late in book 1, early book 2, you're like, Switch is my favorite character. Favorite. Love him. He's so good. And I went, you've yet to meet my favorite character.
Lorien.
and we're here now,
God.
baby.
Yeah.
Oh my God, what a boy.
Honestly, it could turn out he was a bad guy the whole time, betray Hadrian, and I'd be like, well, he probably had his reasons.
Wouldn't care.
So Lorien was right, and Hadrian's the bad guy.
Yeah.
You know, like,
right.
Which is probably true. So,
absolutely agreed.
God damn, Lorien. Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. He just.
Why couldn't you be who Cassius raised? You know.
Oh, but understood. What a like great example of a character that like should not and is so diametrically opposed to our protagonist in so many ways. Like he is the best version of Gilliam Vass, but he's still Gilliam Vass in so many ways. To initial Hadrian,
but it's interesting that Hadrian's
grown so much.
Phrasing on Gilliam Vass is very grotesque. It's very this monster. Right. Whereas with him, it's very like, oh, this child, this poor thing.
Injured, can barely do it, but chooses to exert himself to do the thing.
Whereas Gilliam Vassey's like, lies to himself that he can do the thing, you know, like.
Yeah, I mean, it's just such a fundamental shift in
Sam Rockwell should play Gilliam Vass and Lorien. Different makeup.
Sam Rockwell playing Lorien would be so tough.
So dumb.
Yeah. So tough. I don't know who I'd cast as Lorien. It's impossible. You would need a unique actor. You need a weirdo.
You know,
like if this were 15 years ago, I would have said Dinklage, but like you can't do that at this point. He is Tyrion.
Because I also feel like
permanently.
Like he has to be small and a little weird shaped, but I don't think it's dwarfism. I think it's like overly lean.
Yes, entirely. Right.
Man.
So Tom Cruise, actually.
So Sam Rockwell.
No, Sam Rockwell's taller than Tom Cruise. We need Tom Cruise.
Their energy's the same height.
We need a yes, exactly.
How tall is Sam Rockwell? I'm actually curious. He's not tall.
I think he's like 5'10".
So they say online.
He's not that short. 5'8". Okay, he's shorter than I thought. But
yeah, he's 5'8", which means he's 5'7" or 5'6". They always had 2 inches online.
Okay, and Tom Cruise is 5'6". So, like, what do we do with that?
I've seen Tom Cruise in person. I'm taller than Tom Cruise, and I'm 5'6".
Yeah, he says 5'7" 3/4". So there you go.
Anyways, I also believe Sam Rockwell would put his real height online.
For sure.
But would his agent?
Enough. I did think. Fair point. All this to say, I'm a believer that like you neither could do it, neither would want to do it. You want someone that's clever and funny and like a little. I don't know. We need someone who's a little bit of like a witty asshole, which Rockwell can do.
What
he
about
always does it in a condescending way, which also maybe fits.
Daniel Radcliffe?
Perfect. Ideal. Love it.
Cool.
Get
Dye him
him
blonde.
in face makeup.
Starve him for half a year.
Doesn't even need that.
Get him back on the alcohol. Put him back on the bottle.
Right. Yeah. No, Radcliffe is a perfect call.
Radcliffe at his worst would be
Hang on.
perfect
Radcliffe is a genius casting. It's
actually kind of perfect
casting.
for Lorien, I think. Like, as soon as I said it, I was like, oh, no, that's...
Yeah. No, it's perfect. He is just snide enough, and
but
can be snide.
charming enough, and like
Yeah, right. He could do both. He can be like
he's like
I
a
can imagine
dick,
him.
but it's fun. You know,
Think about the garden scene that we went through the other day.
That's
with him
exactly what I was
wielding the
thinking
wine
of.
bottle. That is a perfect
and
Radcliffe
that's why I was like,
scene.
you got to get him drunk again, because I think of like Order to the Phoenix, where he's like, but I'm the chosen
Yes.
one. It has
Right.
that vibe
When he drinks the Felix Felicis.
Yeah,
or whatever.
exactly.
Yeah.
Like he's but also I think of him in like Miracle Workers. Oh my god, he could kill it. The problem is he can't be Lorian and Wolverine, and I would rather him be Wolverine. But at the end of the day, I think there's 3 actors that just need to do everything. There's 4 actors that need to do everything as far as white boy actors.
Okay.
And
Hit
that's
me.
Daniel Radcliffe, Sam Rockwell,
Okay.
Bill Skarsgård, and Robert Pattinson.
Okay.
You can the 4 of them. You could just pick one for anything, and I'd probably be okay with it.
I would, and this is more of like an old hat kind of thing, in my opinion. I would sign out Skarsgård for the time being. I love Bill Skarsgård. He's incredible. He can do whatever he wants. I also really like Alex Skarsgård, for the record.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think that he's great. And a lot of things he just like takes shitty scripts way more
Way
often
too
than anyone
often.
should.
Like you're
Way
too
too
hot
often.
to be in this many bad movies, and you're a good actor.
Yeah, right. Yes.
You didn't need to do Tarzan.
Ooh, Tarzan and, I mean, frankly, The Stand. But
Then he did The Northman. So
The Northman is so good. Hang on, where was I going? I do want to oppose in this equation, and I know that he's nearing the end of his career in a lot of ways, but Gary Oldman is my
Gary Oldman can do no. Okay, if
white
we're,
man supreme.
if we're talking about
Yeah.
the old birds, Gary Oldman. Oh fuck. You know, whenever there's a name that you say all the time and it's one of your favorite people, and then all of a sudden you can't think of
Name
it.
a character that he's played.
The Green Goblin, baby.
Oh, fucking Willem
Dafoe.
Yeah.
Gary Oldman,
Yeah.
Willem Dafoe. Dafoe, since
Patrick
he's been doing
Stewart.
like
Yeah.
Eggers shit, like holy shit. Like I knew Dafoe had that in him, but like to see Dafoe get to go full Dafoe sometimes. So yeah,
Right.
Oldman, Dafoe, and McKellen.
Yeah.
Those are
Get it.
my 3 gay white boys in their
Stewart.
80s.
Yeah. Right. Stewart is the 4th. But yeah. No, I get it. But by comparison, I think Oldman is only
Oldman's in his 60s. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe 70s,
early
like
70s, but
early 70s at best.
But McKellen's like creeping up on 90, I feel like.
68. Yeah, McKellen is like almost 90.
Hey, but if Mel Brooks just turned 100 and is still actively making Spaceballs 2,
Hey man, yeah. Again, Gary Oldman, 68. But that to say, ooh, man, I want to talk about this book so badly.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
But I do have to say, I haven't watched Slow Horses yet. Oldman's one of my favorite actors of all time. Apparently, it's fucking incredible. I don't know. Part of my bones are just saving it because it's just so much good Oldman.
you gotta
I
like
think,
save it till he
at this
dies
point.
so you can have one more role.
Well, it's 7 seasons at this point, and apparently it's like the best Apple TV show ever.
Every Apple TV show is kind of the best Apple TV show ever. I don't know why Apple TV is making such good TV and then not advertising any of it, and nobody watches it.
Well, I know plenty of people that watch the Apple TV shows. Actually, comparatively, I feel like
It's for cineheads. Like it's for people who like TV and storytelling and writing. Like
definitely is, and that is also why it's taken over like the HBO Watch spot.
Yeah.
I actually, so we took a look. We were talking about this in the Devil's Cut, and I don't want to talk about it too long. But House of the Dragon, we talked about season 3
Yeah.
at this point. The first episode did one of the lowest viewing releases ever
really,
of any,
and it's a very good
shows.
episode. But people weren't excited about it based on the last season, so it's less about
1.1 million.
It's that's
so
a low. That's some Agents of
From a-
Shield numbers.
Yeah, that's some Nielsen bad shit. And then the second episode did 0.98. In the third episode, the second episode is incredible. First
Yeah.
episode, incredible. But like problems. Like you
Yeah,
mentioned.
and there's always going to be a fall off.
Second episode, incredible for a different reason. 0.98. Third episode, 0.89. Oh man, and there's some of the best episodes of Game of Thrones ever.
Yeah.
Like, and this is, man, hype cycle is so crazy. It's so tough to beat. I don't know.
Yeah, I kind of hate the model of shows right now because it inherently builds like a non-return, but
Entirely. And that's also why, like, Wheel of Time hit its stride in the late second season and into its third
really
season,
hit it in the third
right?
season, yeah.
Really in the third season. And the third season had actually finally grew back.
They almost realigned themselves with the books.
Almost. And they almost like also right-sided themselves in so many ways. And I will forever be happy that we got some of the scenes that we did, because they would have never been realized otherwise.
Yeah.
We got the Elfin, which, oh my God, could never imagine.
I actually, they pulled it off perfectly, and all of their goofy, like, they didn't de-goofyify it. They just threw them in there. They just said, that's what they said in the book, and they put them in the fucking show, and I was so happy about it.
And, but in particular, some of the like other scenes between Moraine and otherwise. Anyway, there are so many scenes that I never thought that we were going to get that we got. And I'm glad that we did. I am so bummed out of all of the things that was a series that didn't continue.
Same. I have one scene that I will forever be pissed off we didn't get, because it would have been next season.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted this, like, the full Stone of Tear art.
Oh yeah, of course.
And I so wanted, even if it got canceled after it, a season to end with Moraine's quote death. Moraine and Lanfear going through the,
which we had basically pitched at the end of the season, right?
It was right there. It was like, honestly, if we're going to cancel, at least let us get the end of the main character's story. Quote. I know it's Rand as the main character, but like,
to start. Right.
All right, let's talk about this book, because The Wheel of Time hurts me too much. It's a perfect book series, and the show was actually really good.
Core point being, it's important to note, we're trying our best from an adaptation standpoint. We hope that they can do better, and we want Gary Oldman.
As Daniel Radcliffe.
Cassian Powers.
Honestly, Gary Oldman and Danny Radcliffe and everything. We don't need to talk about the JK of it all, but they're already friends.
They are.
You can just put Harry and the werewolf guy in all of it. That's fine.
Gary Oldman
Sirius
is
Black.
not the werewolf guy. Yeah.
Sirius Black?
Lupin's the werewolf.
Oh, sorry. Sirius Black
is Gary Oldman. You're right.
Also does wolf shit, but
he is involved in the wolf book and more, but also he's not the wolf
But
guy.
he does turn into a dog sometimes.
Well, yes, that's his trans mortified.
I didn't know Gary Oldman was trans. Sorry. I didn't know this was a woke podcast.
Everyone is trans unless you're going into a J.K. Rowling bathroom. Anyway, cool.
Right.
By the way, we have donated extensively. The company Atomic Pylon has donated extensively to the Trevor Project, and we do every year as part of the people and the profit that is provided to us. Profit quote. We provide 20% because I know what it costs of the total revenue that we make every year to the Trevor Project as a part of us referencing other authors that do not support some of the causes that we do support one way or another. This is sort of a blanket statement in a lot of ways, but it's also because we fundamentally believe in human rights in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
So it's part of the company's ethos, motto, and despite us not being a profitable company, please support us. Patreon.com/Words and Whiskey.
The more Patreon, the more Trevors, you know?
The more Trevors.
But also, I hope everybody knows, whenever I said I didn't know this was a woke podcast, that's based on everything I've ever said here. Clearly, that's sarcasm.
No, and this is also to say, like, Books and Baddies is a part of that. Like, we donated because we've done episodes on She Shall Not Be Names books.
Well, yeah.
We have donated every
They're
time we talk about
culturally
her.
impactful.
So, of course. But also, she sucks.
Yeah. And you know what?
Yeah.
If Tolkien had a Twitter account, I don't think I'd like it. But
I think I'd have problems with it.
But Tolkien's dead. I feel like I would think more about Tolkien like I think about King, not like J.K.
Exactly.
Rowling.
So, hang on. Yep, love that.
Yeah. all that to
You
say,
don't need to talk about this too long.
it's easier to support someone when they're dead.
Right. Death of the author is literal in this case. So
When Jesse Lacey dies, it's going to be so easy to listen to Brand New. Anyways, continue.
you could have not struck a deeper chord with me in my darkest depths of my heart.
I still be listening to Brand New. I just do it in the quiet and the dark.
Me too. Me too.
Nobody
man.
can know.
I introduced a 23-year-old.
I am not your friend.
This weekend.
I'm not your lover. I'm not your family.
Not your friend.
That's backwards, but
Yeah.
Anyways,
Anyway, so Hadrian then shares with Lorien the note about Oberlin. Lorien recalls Cassidon, and it seems likely that she's been stolen away on Brethneck's frigate, which we've learned a little bit about in the interim, leading to Lorien cracking a couple of jokes about the implausibility of breaking her out. But then they land on a plan to do so with a small crew upon Hadrian's suggestion. And while Lorien declines at first and tries to work something else out, he eventually settles that there isn't another path and agrees with Hadrian loading the little man back into the fence.
yes. I love this whole scene. I love
Yeah.
just the size difference. Hadrian is small for a Palatine, and he still fucking can just one-arm Lorien. But also, one of my favorite things here is this vibe that it sets up, where they're going to set up a plan. And the plan is, Lorien, go make a plan. That's all we fucking get, and that carries into the next chapter. And we still don't ever know the plan. It's...
No,
Whenever
right.
we talk about Rockio and tropes, this is one of them. He's like, oh, the trope is we're going to set up the plan, and then we won't know, the reader won't know the plan, but then the plan will be revealed later because we always knew the plan. This is not that. He's like, we're setting that up, and then the reveal is nobody knows what happened, and we never will.
Right. The thing that he does set up here is like Lorien says, like, I want to blast this open with like a full legion. I need like 2 war machines. I need everything that is.
Hadrian's like, no, you get Krim and
buddy. He's like, no. You're scaling this wrong. He goes, Krim, Ilex. He's like, motherfucker, like what the fuck? Like I wanted to wage war on these assholes.
He's like, you can't wage war. You have to just go get some stuff.
That is feeding into the trope side of things that you're disarming here in your comment. Like that is like being like, no, you gotta take a small trooper and infiltrate and be like, this is not, he's a little small for a stormtrooper, right? Like, that's literally
which is referenced in the next chapter.
Yeah. We practically get that quote in Purgatory. You know, like
in Purgatory, in that quote, I realized that we are literally in Cloud City. Like for some reason, I never like fully was just like. It's a gas giant surrounded by pink to purple clouds. He talks about the gas giant.
Correct.
Here.
But that doesn't happen in Cloud City. That happens in...
of course. You're saying the Star Wars but we're in Cloud City. Right. And then he throws a Star Wars quote in there in case we weren't sure we're in Cloud City.
Right. Yeah. No, Rockio is very consistently reminding us of like the Star Wars roots of it all.
Well, he's reminding us of the tropes he loves. And that's perfect.
Yeah.
Like...
entirely, which is brilliant and well done. And like Hadrian is so many of the other characters here are so positive, so great. We love them. Hadrian is playing Vader.
Yeah. He's like, what if Luke was worse than Vader? Hey.
Yeah, what if he was an asshole? Yeah.
You know how they blew up Alderaan? What if Luke just blew up the whole system?
The whole system.
As a response.
And he was the breadbasket of the Empire. Yeah.
What if Vader was there and then all of a sudden aliens showed up that he couldn't talk to, so we just decided, fuck the whole thing. I'll be Emperor.
Yikes. Big yikes, dog.
Yep.
With that, I think we can move into Purgatory. We hop into Purgatory here. Hadrian waits again, no longer receiving meals, and reflects on the impossible task he set his people on. And we get this really excellent, long-lensed, condensed story on what's happening as Krim, Ilex, and Lorien take on this other vessel. Such an incredible imaginary scene, as we've mentioned before. What do you make of this?
We did already talk about it a bit, but like in general, this is such a fun play with the format, like with the
conceit,
if you will. We get to experience the story in a lens that doesn't exist normally within the story, which is a very third person, very following other characters. very non-Hadrian lens, but it's still through the lens of Hadrian's imagination. We get to see different outcomes because it's just Hadrian imagining the worst or the best or the worst. It also there's a trope, if you will, within a lot of things that I love where they'll go and do like a really cool like CGI or like animated or like claymation or something.
Soderbergh-esque.
Yeah, like history real quick, where it's just like you experience it in a different format than the rest of the film. And this has that. Like I could almost see this being played out completely as shadows in a live action adaptation. You know, like God, it plays with like the cinematics of it and how you visualize it so well. One thing I think that Rockio gets really good at in Howling Dark and is just excelled at in Demon in White is making like visual writing. Like you read it and you can see it in a way where it's not overly descriptive. And I think that Empire is a little overly descriptive to where you can't see it because you're trying to picture exactly what he said. Whereas like here, this is just like talking about stuff and you can start to like like if you have the mindset to imagine something as it would be filmed, you can see such a cool scene here where all of this plays out as shadows on a wall.
Mm-hmm. And he's trying to give you those shadows on the wall.
Yeah.
He's giving, I mean, in so many ways, like so much of this is left up to interpretation. I feel like we're reading almost like translated hieroglyphics of a moment.
Yeah, and it has that hieroglyphic feel.
We're getting minimal.
We may have mentioned the Prince of Egypt earlier, but there's a scene in that where all the hieroglyphics come to life as they're like chanting, and they're showing what's happening because they can't actually show babies being killed.
Right. Yeah. But Exodus did show babies getting killed, so there was that.
Yeah, well, Ridley Scott.
It was one of the better elements of that movie, bro.
You're just watching Prince of Egypt, and then someone just cuts in that section from Exodus, and then it just goes back to Prince of Egypt.
Yes, up until the final scene in which they confront each other, which I think is a little bit better in Exodus, but also like comparably, like Prince of Egypt is the better movie overall. It's fun.
Better soundtrack for sure, and only one has Steve Martin and Martin Short.
Not even close. Not even close.
We
We do break from.
You don't think Prince of Egypt has the better soundtrack?
No, I think it does. I think it's not even close.
Oh, I thought you were disagreeing. Yeah. Not even close. I was
no. You're totally correct.
Whoa,
and it's not even close.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
I do want to give credit to the actual person whom did the soundtrack for Exodus because I think it's incredible.
Oh, sure, it's probably really good
the
cinematic storytelling,
grandeur of right. A lot of what they did is so epic and so wonderful, but it is not the cinematic grandeur of fucking Prince of Egypt.
Yeah.
So
yeah, cool.
Yeah,
cool.
A few things.
Hey, if you have a particular favorite Exodus story movie, get in the fucking comments.
Yeah. Tell us about one of those. Is it the only one that we missed so far? Is the one that involves Larry the Cucumber. So I'm excited.
I think there's one from like the 60s also.
Well, yeah, there's the original Exodus, which I think is 19. You said 60s. You're not that far off. It is 1959.
That sounds right. Yeah, it's early 60s or late 50s. Yeah.
Because I was doing research on this movie, and apparently Universal owns the perpetual rights to the title Exodus.
So the Bible.
Yeah, right.
That makes a lot of sense, actually.
So this movie was originally supposed to be called Moses, and then they changed the title to Exodus, and then Universal was like, nah, you guys gotta fucking eat shit, and then they had to change it to Exodus, Gods and Monsters, or whatever the hell it ended up being.
Wild.
So, anyway, point being, we're back. Talking about this fucking book, which is a lovely book.
What was the... sorry, Universal has what?
They have the rights to Exodus.
Exodus?
The title? Yeah. It's a word.
Exodus.
Nuts?
No, that doesn't work out.
It was so close. You were so close. Yeah. Again, we... break from this moment, Hadrian reflecting on Fergosos to his shock as Lorien enters the room and says, "It is done." The guy stopped here briefly after a quick trip to Medica, and Lieutenant Kasdan sang leading to the capture of Breathnack as well. We get our payoff here.
So fucking cool. Also wild that we don't get to see any of it, but it works within the story. And we do get to see it. We just don't get to see what actually happened. And I love that there's still a mystery to it, and Lorien's fucking plasma burned. Like, he was in a fucking fight, and then came straight here.
Way worse than what Hadrian thought happened, in a different way than what Hadrian thought happened.
Wasn't smooth, but holy shit, they pulled it off. And as far as we know, I don't know if we've actually, like, in the book, by the end of this, physically talked to Krim or Ilex, but as far as we know, they're fine.
We know that they're no worse off than he is. Or about as worse.
They pulled it off, 3 of them against the fucking Chantry ship, and I love that later the Chantry's like, but you have to tell us how you did it. He's like, I don't fucking know. I think Rocky was like, how do they do this? And he's like, I don't know, I'll just say they did.
I do. Part of me thinks that this is a great occlusion from Hadrian, even at the end of time, being like, I do know how it happened,
but now, I won't especially tell anybody.
But I'm not fucking leaking this to the fucking Chantry. Fuck those guys.
Hell yeah.
Like, yeah, it's got a lot of that energy to me.
Yeah,
personally.
But so cool that he's just like, we did it. You're like, how? And he's like, I'm fucked up, but we did it.
Yeah, exactly.
And it shows like, how capable. So it's wild to show how capable Lorien is in this situation.
Lorien, Krim, and Ilex.
Oh,
right?
But we knew
Lorien
Krim for sure, and we
yeah.
assumed Ilex. But like Lorien really like shows how fucking. Even if Krim and Ilex mostly pulled it off, Lorien put it together.
Right. He assembled the plan. He is the strategos in so many ways.
Lorien, my boy. That's all. That's all I have to say about him.
Lorien is the boy. He earns it. This section.
Yeah.
You know, we've previously stated that like Hadrian is our boy in so many ways.
But Lorien is our boy. Hadrian's the main character. Lorien's our boy.
Yeah. He's my boy.
He's my boy, heart. At least. Yeah.
Man.
Hadrian can go eat a son. Lorien's my boy.
He can go eat a son.
Yeah.
He will eat a son.
Hey, go eat a son. No.
Yeah. Right. To round this out, I would love personally to get the short story at some point. To, like, just get it from a fun standpoint. Like
so
see Rocky write like a little heist.
Oh, if you wrote like a full like.
Yeah.
All right. Here's how it's gonna go down. Krim, you're gonna walk in the front door. Zoom. Hey man, how you doing? Huh?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, man, that'd be so good. I love that story on the whole. That said, to round this out, Lorien suggests letting Velka out of Fugue, but Hadrian isn't certain that it's safe yet and questions whether or not Bourbon was associated with this group, but there's no proof of that from Lorien's side of things. We only have Breathnack. It's been claimed and otherwise, and also the Chantry. Still, he settles on this being Lorien's clear victory and an impossible one without him, calling Arentis a hero.
Yeah. But also with a name like Bourbon. We can assume.
We can assume as we will.
Hadrian being like, no, Valka's got to stay in there did feel a little weird to me. Like, maybe he's like being overly protective. But it makes sense. It makes sense in the situation. Totally. I still don't know that Valka needed to go in there, but if she's already in there, keep her in there. It's not hurting her, you know?
Right. Who's going to stop? Yeah. All right. So, we get to our final chapter of the week. Along Comes a Spider. What an interesting title choice to reference Miss Muffet and her tuffets being scared of a little spider. There are a lot of different references herein, obviously. But anyway, the summons finally arrives to bring Hadrian in front of the same council once again, but this time they're all there in person, corporeal, and all shocked by the director of Legion Intelligence being an assassin himself.
It's a wild turn of events, and also Hadrian is coming to this one from a sense of a little bit more power than the last one.
Correct.
But it is, it's just Hadrian being the king of awkward over text, but great in person. You know?
Exactly that ideal. It's exactly the way that he's been the whole time. In addition, I mean, to say not too much more about this in so many ways, like
He has to have a room to control. He doesn't do well on Skype.
definitely he does way better in person. He can give out drinks and cocktails and give people like Oprah, like like getting it a few weeks later doesn't matter. But if you pull out a car from under your chair, you're gonna love that way more.
Or he's also just able to like shame people and walk them into situations better whenever he can read their body language and shit. But,
Right. He definitely does that here way better. Yeah, Hadrian really kind of owns this scene in a very different way. Hadrian even suggests that he wants to get back to the front in this moment and being like away from this situation. And Lord Cassian Powers states that he is instead intended to take his seat. Hadrian declines, and the whole council pushes back in his face, to which he retorts about his knighthood, placing him in a position to answer to the emperor exclusively, not to this council.
Not to them.
And when asked why, he explains that it had all been a bit too much for him for obvious reasons. Everyone here is not necessarily conspiring against him, but no one's conspiring for him.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. We get a Hadrian who is this Hadrian reminds me of like season 3 Tyrion. Like he knows everyone's against him, but he's outplaying them still a little bit. But it's like, how long can he do that? And he is going to get his nose cut off. Which I guess also works in the lore of this world. But
Not that far off. Yeah.
But yeah, it's really fun to see him kind of like from a place of actually having a position and balancing his power, and Hadrian gets to do what Hadrian's good at here. And that's fun.
Yeah, he's playing in a very different field than he usually does, but also he's playing in a field that he's aware of. This is his... he was never meant to be the kid in the Colosso, and he's found himself good at being the kid in the Colosso. But now he gets to be the other side of himself more readily. And so he's good here. This is his real arena that he was more prepared for himself.
Agreed.
Yeah. He then is pressed for methods of how he extracted the information from Cassidon. Yeah. And he turns it back on the Chantry for absolutely making a fool of themselves by allowing Brethnak's manipulation to begin with. As it's like, how'd you get there? And how'd you find that out? And they're like, and he's like, well, motherfuckers, you were manipulated by this asshole. So who cares?
I love this, like, there's a moment in there where it's like, they're like, oh, you don't want to seem like you're resisting the Chantry. And he's like, I think the Chantry doesn't want anything to do with this investigation anymore. Like,
you actually should not.
You guys shouldn't go that route, because the Chantry cannot have this going on its record. So I think we all just live and let live, do a little forgetting and some moving on, Such a cool pull from him. I don't know. He commands the room well in this situation. Sometimes Hadrian does aura farm, and this is one of them.
Hadrian does way more aura farming in this book than any prior.
Yeah, he does a little in Howling Dark. He does like 1 or 2 in Empire, but not a lot. But
here he's like, motherfucker, you're trying to tell me.
Oh, dude, he's hitting him with the jawline. He's,
Hit him with the jawline, him with the facts. He's like, just strictly shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
We're good? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Sick. Oh, yeah. Straight out of Emperor's New Groove.
Oh, yeah. It's all come together.
All coming together.
From above, the wicked shall receive their just reward. Little too. All right, continue.
One of the best Disney movies ever. It's fine.
It is.
Hector then informs us that he is aware of his brother, the Emperor's proposal, as the Emperor had gone against the Council's wishes to promise Selene to Hadrian, and says he'll pass on the decision he's made to Virgilian, of whom is the head, therein, and an advisement from there. So basically, Hadrian is left with this moment in which he's like, man, we don't want you on the council, but we got to take you on the council. But also, we don't think you should marry the princess, but the emperor said you should. I don't know. And leaving this in the past is the best that they could do in this moment. They're kind of like, just, okay, we get it. We'll take it. Fine.
Yeah, I mean, I guess he kind of wins the situation. He's still in a poor situation where everyone wants to kill him.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but, leopards, lions, and wolves.
Which is literally the concept of the entire next section, right? Like, we then come to the colonnade outside of the Sun King's Hall as Cassian Powers, takes his time to have a conversation with Hadrian. And it very much feels like an old knight sort of passing on to the new one this torch, and without a warning about the job is as well and what it entails. Sort of this idea of legends and the way that we extend ourselves beyond the myths that we believe. Am I really the hero of Crestguard? Cassian Powers suggests. Am I really the legend? And Hadrian stares at him and he's like, well, motherfucker, I am the half-mortal.
Yeah, he's like, did you really die? Clearly not. And Hadrian's like,
nah. He's
Yeah.
not sweating at the moment. He's like, I understand what you're going for, but like, it's
anybody else, this would be a
you
great
and I,
speech.
A little different. Yeah. A little different for me. Yeah.
You're like, hey, everybody likes to demonize the people they are opposed against, but we're not all devils. And he's like, yeah, but I am literally the devil from the Bible.
I am Lucifer.
Yeah, but that's me. No, it's
But
great little conversation. It does, like, there is that Powers embodies that Gibson of it too. Like,
yes.
It's just such a different Hadrian that he's communicating with.
Hadrian calls that out. He's like,
I think he
almost
does.
Feels like he flinches, and he's like, he reflects on him like Gibson.
Which shows that, like, Powers is not a bad dude. Like, he's like
Right.
actually he reminds me of Lorne, if we're gonna compare to a different series.
I would agree. Yeah.
Someone who maybe has done bad things, but like is a noble knight.
Has tried to do the best.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it's so interesting, and this is also the spot where we get him calling Hadrian out on like the nightmares, and Hadrian being like, "I don't have nightmares," and I'm like, "Motherfucker, you opened this section of this book with nightmares."
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you do. And then he says, "Spoken exactly like someone who has nightmares," and I'm like, I love that for not a second does he believe him. He sees right through Hadrian's bullshit. And then Hadrian even tries to tell us, the reader, like, he's like, well, no, I don't have nightmares. It was real, so it's technically visions. Like, bitch, you're having nightmares about real shit you've seen. Do you think that the shit that Powers is having nightmares about wasn't also real?
Yeah. Your PTSD is the same. It's just he experienced it, and you're seeing the future. They're different problems.
But also, he's just having nightmares about hands grabbing him. That already happened. You're having nightmares about the past too, bitch, in this section.
Yeah.
Ah!
Brethren already happened.
Yeah, unless you're seeing visions of future brethren, which might be cool, you're having nightmares.
We do know he sees brethren once more, but...
Yeah, so... Anyways, that's what I gotta say about that.
Okay, all right. Final note on this chapter is, of course, when we turn from Powers and we instead face towards Bourbon, which is our second conversation here, as he abruptly enters the scene. His accusations about ending Breathneck's career being completely unfounded as he attacks Hadrian for what he's worth, and he just goes off on the man, even suggesting that he knows what he is in some sort of mysterious way that he has no real way of tangibly backing up in any kind of substantial effort or way. Really, Bourbon is just kind of doing his best.
Classic
and Hadrian
Bourbon.
gloats in his position, seeing the man walk away, and simultaneously admits that he is in no position to have gloated at the end of
that was kind of a wild spot to end it, honestly. Like, I like it, but also he was like, I shouldn't be gloating. I was like, what comes next? Like, and it wasn't a cliffhanger, but it felt like a cliffhanger. Like, and I was in no position to gloat. But like,
this is like a clean episode end, and I mean that from like a TV to like episodic.
I agree.
Like,
yeah.
Wait, but like, where the fuck do we go from here?
I'd say beginning to end, this is a really clean 1 hour of good sci-fi television.
Yeah, I would say it's a clean 2 hours, and the only reason that I say that is because I do want a solitary episode of the Krim, Ilex, Lorien expedition. Like
This is
I
a
want
clean 1 hour with just a little 30-second wall shadow puppet thing, and the next episode,
love that idea.
the next episode opens with a 2 minutes before the stinger, or before the intro, like a 2-minute stinger, 2 to 3 minute stinger, that is just a blurb out of their mission.
Yeah. I love the idea of like not exposing it fully, but I also want a little bit more.
But I want to see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's. I mean, how do I say this without being gross?
Perfect short story fodder.
It's like a really good outfit. You're like, all right, that's great, and I would love to see you out of it, but honestly, it might be better like this.
Totally.
You know what I mean?
I definitely understand exactly what you're going for. So I get it.
Yeah.
That said, anything else on this week you want to mention?
Let's see here. Let's Go Norway. That'll probably already be over by the time this comes out. But just so you know, Let's Go Norway.
I'll be in England, so like I want Norway to win, but also
it might be better for you if England wins. Let's Go Norway, but if England wins, it would be pretty cool that Cross lives.
Yeah, that I survive walking.
Just don't look too Norwegian, you know?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
I'm Scottish, so I'm already at a loss, but it's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, at least you're not Irish.
That's true. I'm doing better than
I'm Irish. But I'm mostly Italian, though, which they hate even more than the Irish.
Very, very fair.
Yeah, I don't know. This is a good book series, and I'm excited to read more.
Cool. Josh, we've hit over the halfway point here, so just so you're aware.
Oh, we're over the halfway point in the last book in the halfway point? Because in our notes, they're broken up into first half and second half. We're about to start second half.
We are after Demon and White. We start second half, so
that's crazy.
Yeah.
We've almost made it halfway through a whole fucking series.
Well, kind of. The back
I know,
books get longer.
And there's more of them.
Right, there's 4 books.
But, I mean, how many weeks have we been doing this? How long have we been...
Josh, we started this venture in...
Me and you, too. I mean, you started a long time ago, but me and you.
November?
Yeah, we're at over half a year, I think.
Yeah, right. We're approaching a year.
We're coming up on a year.
We'll come up on it sooner.
We'll celebrate it. We'll celebrate it when we get there. But that is crazy because this does still, like, I don't feel scared new, but, like, this still feels like a little, like, new.
We're figuring it out. It's fun.
New in a good way. Like, but it's crazy to be like, I've almost done this a year.
Hey, man. It's, I'm proud to have you as a co-host. I was, and I will reiterate this forever, you're just immediately like, well, do you need a new co-host? Was like, well, yeah, I do. And I was like, I can't think of anyone else who would make a better co-host in the immediate moment. And I was like, I don't know that anyone ever would. So here we are.
Goddamn.
That's why we're here. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate that, and I love you.
I was going to pivot the entire series over to something entirely different with what Words and Whiskey was, and as a result,
and you know,
weird.
Every episode, we're balancing on the knife of me saying something that causes you to go right back to that. We're raring to go on that. One of these days, I'm going to say something, you're not going to release the episode, and you're going to be like, and Josh is gone.
It's so crazy that we say we're raring to go every time, because I wrote in the notes, like, literally 2 years ago, and we never fucking said it. It was just meant to evoke the idea.
It's raring to go, though.
And then you saw that, and you're like, man, that's my
here's the thing. That
heartbeat.
saying has been just in the notes, raring to go for years.
It has not since you started saying it, because I removed it and I rewrote the whole fucking thing. That said, next week we're reading Visitation Through the Merchant of Death, and so as to honor my promise to put in chapters, which I will try to do from ever the way forward, it is 45 through 51. 45 through 51.
Whew.
So it's all a little 6-7 chapter bit.
Yeah.
It should be fun.
And I'm sure Merchant of Death is just a cool, chill chapter.
That's so sick. It's so sick.
It's going to be so cool. Anyways, thanks for listening to this week's podcast. You can find us on social media at Words Whiskey Pod on Instagram, Blue Sky, and Threads. If you'd like to reach out to us directly, feel free to shoot us an email at wordsandwhiskeyshow@gmail.com. Again, that's wordsandwhiskeyshow@gmail.com.
You know, it's kind of so fucked up that we've like slightly different things everywhere, frankly. And I'm so sorry to our listeners, but also thank you for finding us on every platform that we're on. If you would, we would appreciate if you'd leave us a review on whatever platform of your choice that you're checking us out on. In addition, you know, we know that there are hundreds, there are thousands of you across so many different platforms. It would make a world of a difference if you would subscribe to us on YouTube. I don't care if you click that bell. I don't care if you even view. I just care if you hit that subscribe button because, dear God, we've eclipsed so many of the other metrics on YouTube. We strictly need subscriber numbers. And we know that we have it across every other medium. But just because we're just now finally investing in YouTube, it's a bit of a different beast. So if you can, please do. If you don't, we will leave you an event, and we will not open the door when you try to signal us with your tap slash bullshit.
Hey, subscribe to us on YouTube or I'm going to send a fucking knife missile.
Oh, yeah, that's a way better threat. You're right.
Also, this has nothing to do with the book. You guys can all vote. I'll either wear more shirt or less shirt, depending on subscriber. Just you tell me which one you want.
Okay. Love that idea. We did, in a single episode very recently, get a comment, and I would love to call this out because I love responding to comments and talking with people whenever they're calling them out. But someone within an episode was like, I feel like Josh is being very one-sided about this thought and opinion and is not considering the totality of Cielson existence against the minority of human existence as it comes to like cannibalism and the way that we've consumed things and blah, blah. And then 20 minutes after, he was like, Josh addressed this in the episode. And I was like, yeah, he did.
Yeah, that's the kind of that was my whole point.
yeah, that's right. It's like he was setting himself up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool.
My thoughts do be roundabout and take a while sometimes, but, you know.
Yeah, you got to give us time. You can't abandon. You
just got to trust me, brother. That's
functional literacy is very important, including in the way that you listen to things. So
yeah. Also, we be drinking, you know.
We do be. So it sometimes takes a moment, and sometimes it takes episodes to arrive at the point that we wanted to say beforehand. So.
And sometimes, dear listener, there are endings. And this is one of them.
Cool.
Rad.
Dope.